Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the old MCU crew. We have seen the things. But we're not going to talk about one thing just yet. If you're worried about the Sean, also, by the way, the movie tells you how to say his name. Did you guys catch that?
Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
His name is Sean.
It's Shang-Chi. If you're
Sean.
if you're worried about spoilers for Shang-Chi, I just gave you one that tells you how to say his name. But also, we're not going to be discussing it till the end of the episode. We'll be very vocal when we discuss it, because I know a lot of people do not want to make the trek to the theaters, and they are waiting for that Disney Plus release here in about 45 or maybe less, 40 days, 41 days. I don't know when it comes out on Disney Plus. But we're going to wait till all of that discussion till the end of the show so that those that want to join us for the normal show can do so. Before we get started, Jesse, what was at the post office? I got to know. You said you were going to get a box. Can you tell me about the box?
No, because it's sitting on my counter and I haven't actually opened it yet.
God damn it,
so
Jesse.
I know that it's heavy, and I know that it's from Amazon. So I'm hoping it's something that I ordered, and I can't remember what it was. Probably for the office. If I'm not lying, it's probably for the office.
Does that
probably some nonsense that people wanted at the office, and I was like, oh my God, we need this? And they're like, we need that. I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, that's usually what happens.
Okay. Does this happen to you where you order things that don't ship for like a year or two, and then they just show up and you're like, what the fuck is this?
I had to stop. The last time I did that is when they made Triss and Yennefer statues at whatever that statue place is. I bought both of them. Yeah, Sideshow. And I bought both of them. It took 3 years for them to arrive. And when they finally did, I had forgotten that I literally was just like, I was so upset. I was like, I have no room for these in my life. At the time, I clearly wanted these, and now I don't even know where to put them. So they're at the office, and they look awesome, but like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that happens to me. Bronze, does that happen to you? Do you order statues years in advance?
I do, actually. It was mostly with the Good Smile Company. They would have like Nendoroids and then Play Arts Kai and Figuarts. I really like those figures, so I would pre-order them. But they never took 2 or 3 years to ship. It would always be like 8 months.
Oh, okay. Not too bad.
2 to 3 years is what it was. So upsetting. I was like, why even bother at this point? However, I recently discovered there's a like dope ass Cloud Tifa Aerith Final Fantasy 7 thing. That's like an Xseed limited. It's been sold out since last year, but I only discovered it yesterday and was like, I would have waited for that. I would have waited for that. Too late.
Oh,
I ain't waiting. Someone else got it.
You know what did take 2 to 3 years was I ordered these like dice called Dispel dice. They're supposed to be like super sharp, but that was, I think, like a Kickstarter, and I'm just pleasantly surprised if I get Kickstarter rewards.
Oh, just in general?
Yeah, like if I get it, I'm like, wow, I actually got my stuff? No way.
One time Kickstarted socks. I never got those socks.
Do you ever get them? Exactly.
Never.
I feel like
never got
I'm
the
not
socks.
Trying to shit talk all Kickstarters, but I feel like a lot of them, I'm just like, wow, I actually got the thing I Kickstarted. I'm beside myself.
I don't know if I've ever Kickstarted something. Now that I'm thinking,
I can safely say that the Monster Prom Kickstarters have always delivered. Thank you very much.
Boom.
They were worth it.
Thank you very
These
much.
Dice are freaking beautiful.
Oh yeah, they're good dice. Good die. Rather.
Yeah, they're really sharp. Is the thing. They have like these really sharp edges.
Is that
like,
safe?
Kind of.
Well, you're not throwing them at. She's not like throwing the dice. Well, actually, hold on.
I was about to say, are we talking about bronze here?
I've been in some D&D games where some dice have been thrown. So
I was about to say, yeah, come on, bronze definitely using those to hurt.
Be careful, bronze. Don't throw them.
Like they're so sharp. Oh, what are you using those for? Nothing. I just got them red because I don't like stains.
Jesus.
Yeah. Well, I have like these giant metal ones though. Why wouldn't I use those to throw at people?
Because those are the ones you put in the fridge and then for some reason use in your like whiskey. Right? They're like the whiskey, like
the whiskey stones. I do have some whiskey stones. That's true.
Right?
I hadn't considered it, but I think you totally could use these for that.
There you go.
Yup.
They're double duty dice.
Are we gonna? Oh my god, are we gonna talk about this Doctor Strange thing? I am so excited.
We will.
What
we
the
should.
hell was this?
We will. Let's get through a little bit of the news. There's not too much. I think Shang-Chi kind of dominated the news. First and foremost, they had a record-breaking Labor Day box office with 90 million. Is that internet? Is that all in, or is that just the U.S.? That's all in, right? Yes, I think that's all in. The expectation was 75 million over the first 3 days. It took in 29.6 on the first day. That's just the U.S. Holy shit, that's kind of crazy if that's just the U.S. Because I guess it's not out in China. I guess they're holding it in China. So that's pretty good. It's pretty good opening, which is weird. I'm curious for you guys. Theaters, my theater was not filled whatsoever. In fact, I would say my theater was empty as fuck. There was probably
When did you see it though?
I saw it Thursday.
But like time wise.
Oh, 6. They only had one showing at the place I went.
Oh, interesting.
Well, they had one showing at 6, but it was in 4 theaters. So maybe it was spread across the 4 theaters. I don't know.
The theater that I went to was like back-to-back showings, and I decided to go at 11 at night. I was like, ain't nobody gonna be there. Here's the thing, ain't nobody was there. However, really? the 8 p.m. showing packed. The showing before that packed. So I guess it just depends on time. It was a Friday night too, so it was Friday or Saturday, one of those days. So I mean, I get it.
I also wonder how many people bought extra seats so they didn't have to sit next to someone. Because I definitely did. I definitely bought 2 extra seats on the side.
I was thinking about it.
Next to people.
But then I kept looking at the I'd like go fake order tickets and just go look at the seating. And it never updated. By 5 p.m. that day, everyone who's buying the 11 p.m. tickets had already got their tickets. There's maybe 20 people in that giant ass theater, and I was like, all right, I'm feeling all right.
I think I lucked out because I went on a day PAX was happening.
Oh.
And even though PAX is a lot smaller this year, there's still a lot of locals who are there. So I went like Saturday at, I think early evening, like Saturday, 4 o'clock, I think is when I went. And that's like, people are going to be at PAX. So at least nerds. So it actually helped a lot.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, Jesse's got COVID.
Bless you.
Just out here
Jesse's got allergies.
Dude, my allergies are bad as fuck too.
My eyes are like, oh yeah, I hate. Shout out to fall and spring.
Yeah.
Those are.
When
that transition happens, I'm like, oh.
The old fall and spring. Sony's having a tough time landing a date for Venom 2 because they have now moved it up. It is now on October 1st instead of October 15th here for Venom Let There Be Carnage. I think, is this the 3rd time they've changed this date? 3rd or 4th time, I want to say. They have rescheduled the launch of Venom 2 multiple times now. Is it going to be only in Yeah, it says exclusively in movie theaters. I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know if that's going to be a film that I go see in the theater.
Yeah,
I didn't see the first one in the theater. Full disclosure.
It is. I went to see what other movies come out the 15th because usually when they move a movie, it's because they're trying not to compete with something.
Is James Bond coming out or something?
James Bond comes out at some point, but no, on the 15th, it's the next Halloween movie, which I think is supposed to be the last Halloween. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then that last Duel movie that they definitely had a trailer for in my movie theater. That's like Adam Driver and Matt Damon and Ben Affleck in like the Middle Ages.
Oh, right. Yeah. I forgot that movie existed. Holy shit.
And then, yeah, I think, and then maybe like Velvet Underground, I think is the only other I'm trying to see if there's anything else that comes out then. But yeah. Is it really going to be the last Halloween movie? No.
It'll be the last Halloween movie until they make the last Halloween movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I've fallen off on the Halloween movies. It's too many.
Interesting that I'm trying to see what other, like, there's nothing else coming out. Oh, maybe they wanted to move it up because they want to get people to see it in the theater. Because literally on the 22nd, the next Friday, is Dune. So I imagine they think that's going to be huge.
Is it?
Wait, what? Sorry, what movie?
Hell if I. Yeah, okay. All right, I see what they did.
Let's hear
All
it.
right, so
let's get the breakdown.
So
here's Jesse with the movie
here's
breakdown.
The breakdown. Here's the movie breakdown.
Oh, Dune.
On the 8th,
spoilers.
No Time to Die comes out, which is the Bond movie that's been sitting around since before COVID, and people are gonna
the dinosaurs
always see a Bond movie. Yeah, so that's the 8th. And then what would happen is this movie, Venom, will be smack dab right in the middle.
Sorry, what?
And so the next Venom.
Wait, what? There you go. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Would be smack dab right in the middle, and then the next weekend would be Dune. And so Dune. Did I say Doom? I meant Dune.
Doom's back.
Doom.
They got the Rock. He's going to
Dune
hell.
comes out.
Yeah.
On the 20th. So basically, Venom would be smack right between two huge movies. And so I think that's why they moved it up front.
That makes sense.
That I could at least exist before there was competition. Because if I had to wager what I thought would be more successful, a Bond movie versus Venom 2, I'm gonna let you know. I think the Bond movie is gonna win every time.
Yeah,
just gonna put that out there.
Yeah.
Just gonna say that right now.
It's also Daniel Craig's last Bond, right? So there's some significance there,
I guess.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm gonna see Rami Malek be a villain. Very excited for that.
I've been excited for that since that was announced.
Very
5
excited
years
for that.
ago. Yeah,
I love that, man. So yeah.
Rami Malek's a very good guy, very good actor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, and also Lamb comes out if you want to get real weird with it.
Oh, everyone's favorite movie.
If you saw
kids film
Green
Lamb?
Knight, no, it's that no kids film. If you saw Green Knight and you saw the trailer for Lamb, get ready. That's going to be a weird ride. I can't wait. Very excited. Just Google the trailer for Lamb and get your mind blown and be like, what? What? Okay. I'm hoping for a solid, creepy horror film.
There you go. That's what A24 does best. That's what I've heard, at least. Remember when seen
they do. They do unsettling very well.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys know Ethan Hawke was in the MCU? Do you know about this?
What?
Yeah, Ethan Hawke is playing a top secret role in the Moon Knight show. We don't know who he's playing. Oh, he's in Moon Knight. Not he is Moon Knight. Yeah. Because Moon Knight is Oscar Isaac. But he is not he's not said who he's playing in the old Moon Knight show. And that he's somewhat of a lesser known character, according to him. So it's probably Mephisto, I think is what he's trying not to say.
They would introduce Mephisto and Moon Knight? Of all the things, look, when we here's
I like
the
how
problem.
that was like clearly a joke for me, and Jesse's like, I don't know if it would be Moon Knight, JP. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. This is the problem with Marvel, and when we get to the movie, I want to talk about it because Marvel consistently does things that make no sense and are totally like, and they did it with all the Marvel shows where we would sit here and be like, everything they've said so far leads up to this revelation, and I can't wait for them to reveal it. And then it just wouldn't happen. That's how I feel about everything in Marvel now, where they're like, now it's time for this cool thing that you've been waiting for, but we ain't did that. We didn't do that at all. And it's like, all right. I mean, I'm not upset, but it's very weird that you went this direction instead. Like, it's just strange to me. And so, yeah, no matter what we think Ethan Hawke is going to be, it's going to be something total, like Ethan Hawke is in fact the Ethan Hawke plays Thanos' kid, Thanos. You're like, what the hell is that?
Thermos. It's
Thanos?
Thermos. No, it's Thermos.
Thermos, yeah.
Ethan Hawke
It's me.
is Thermos, sponsored by Yeti. He's just a Yeti thermos. He's just hanging out. Hey, he's great. I mean, he's very powerful.
Give me something
How does he keep it cold for that long? It doesn't make sense. I don't know. Can't explain that.
Oh,
Can't explain that. We'll see.
Thermos. What a terrible name.
What else is out there? James Gunn out there talking about his parents' Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 cameo. If you're wanting a little bit of fun Marvel movie knowledge here. Yeah, obviously Taserface. No, James F. Gunn is credited as Weird Old Man in the movie, with Leota Gunn credited as Weird Old Man's mistress.
Is it on the whore planet?
I'm not sure.
What a weird thing to, the whore planet where all the Ravagers go to get robo whores.
Oh, right.
Remember that
yes.
scene with the robo whores?
Yeah.
That was in a movie.
Yep. That was in a Marvel movie. He also provided the information that his brother, wife, and their 3 kids were right beside them, and they were all mowed down by Ego, said Gunn on Twitter. My niece and brother-in-law were yellow aliens also mowed down, and my niece Grace was the pink alien who was the first life form Ego met. My family loves getting killed in my movies. That's kind of a weird thing. Like, I don't know how I feel about it. Is that fun?
That's super fun. Yeah.
A director asking his family if they want to get killed in this movie.
It is. As someone who has been shot in a thing, it is so much fun. I'm going to let you know right now. Like having the squibs put in and like getting like, and then like falling over like, right? Yeah. I was told I was a natural at it. Everyone on set was very impressed with my death. I was like, yeah. All I'm saying is, that's the most fun you get. Like, stunt guys, I get it. I get stunt guys. I get the whole thing. And so for a family member, instead of just being like, JP, if I had a movie and I asked you, here are your choices.
No, I
would expect you to be in it, of course.
Yeah.
But I would say, hey, here are your 2 options. Either one, you have a scene with the hero where you have to get this line and nail this line. Or option B, the bad guy kills you in the most dramatic way possible and you like explode. What do you choose?
Oh yeah, definitely bad guy death.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Definitely
every time.
100%.
Every time.
100%.
There's so much pressure to like, you're with like the lead actor and it's like, I got to nail this line. And you're going to be the guy that's like, oh, hey, Johnny, you're my favorite customer. Like, you're going to end up that guy. You don't want to be that guy. You want to be the one who's like, oh no. Every time.
Yeah, I agree.
Was that a line from The Room?
Oh, hey, Johnny, you're my favorite customer. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Little Room reference here on the old MCU crew. Last but not least, Marvel's been out there and they have confirmed, and then we'll lead into talking about last week's What If episode, that this week's What If episode is Marvel Zombies with the Avengers. We got Captain America and Hawkeye posters already out there. We'll see how this goes. I think this is, this was the one comic in What If that was so well liked that they spun it into its own comic, I believe, with the Marvel Zombies shit. So I don't know if that was just because people love zombies or if because it was a really good story. I don't have that information.
Do people still love zombies? I mean, I love zombies, but I feel like a chump for liking them because everybody always informs me when I play a zombie game or like a zombie show that zombies are so overdone. I'm so tired of zombies.
I think that's just the internet being the internet. I think people still love zombies. If they didn't still love zombies, there wouldn't be a second Walking Dead show with its 7th season, with the main one being on like season 12 or some shit. Season 11, right? They would have canceled that show a year ago.
People like zombies. I think the zombie hype has died. There's waves of hype about different things. I think the zombie hype has died down. Like, I know I'm not, zombies don't inspire me. Like, if you said there was a zombie show or a zombie movie or a zombie game, I'm not like immediately like, yes. It has to be something else about it that I care about. Otherwise, the concept of like zombies, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's always fun to kill them. Like, a Left 4 Dead game's never not going to be fun, right? It's just, it isn't like, that's what I've been waiting for. Like,
really?
Whatever.
I feel that way about Back 4 Blood. I'm like, I've been into depression since the early access went away. I need it.
I would wager, I'm going to put this out there, I think it's less about the game and more about your friends and you interacting within it.
Yeah, I would agree.
Oh, that's true. I do have some really dope friends, and we kind of make even janky games a lot of fun.
Yeah, fun with friends. Fun with Friends is a game category, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Without doubt. Without a doubt. I think zombies are fine. Here's a look at Cap America is a zombie. I don't know if would you be afraid of a Captain America zombie? I don't think I would.
How does his powers translate?
I don't know. He'd just be a super strong zombie.
Would he?
I guess.
Here's my question. I'm going to pose this because I think it's an important question.
He can't throw his shield, right? Like zombies aren't coordinated.
Why is the Captain America zombie evil? Wouldn't the juices flowing through his body amplify the good in him, making him the first good guy zombie?
Maybe that's the twist on What If this week. You know?
Yeah. What if instead of him being like, I'm going to eat you, that's him being like, I'm here to help.
Yeah. Could be.
Right? Look at him. He's like, hey, guys.
He's just screaming.
I'm here to help.
Yeah, he's screaming because he just saw one of his other zombie friends get blown apart. But maybe that's why. Maybe he's a zombie who cares about his other zombo friends getting killed because they're zombies.
I guess I'm confused about... I don't know.
Wait,
I don't
so
know
is
what
Captain America Defender of Zombies?
Maybe.
Oh, that's the twist. That's like what's that movie? I Am Legend.
It's hard to have a like narrative though around zombies in the sense of like
that's what I'm trying to figure out.
A zombie can't tell a story. It's a zombie, right? Like they're kind of one trick.
Yeah, who are the people in the world that are fighting the zombies?
Well, it's not Hawkeye because he's dead.
Why do they got to make him look like that? They're like, dude doesn't even have a nose. He deserves it.
Yeah, he
deserves it.
He had a little rough go. A little rough go.
Where's the one with like no jaw? Like these are pretty put together zombies. Where's the one with like no jaw? Where's the zombie with no arms? Yeah. Where's the like torso zombie? You know, you gotta have a torso zombie. What if the Hulk was a torso zombie? That'd be terrifying. Right?
It would be. Yeah.
No?
I guess it would be. I was thinking about it.
I think because big old arms and he's like crawling towards you. It's like he's really slow, but he's super strong. And it's like, you gotta get away from that guy. You know?
Yeah. I'm trying to think like who the good guy's or who the main focus is gonna be in this. Now you got me thinking. Could it be Spider-Man with the strange thing on him?
I mean, maybe. I don't. Originally, I thought, based off of some stuff that I saw in all of these different trailers, I was convinced every episode was leading towards a like where Doctor Strange would have found Captain Carter, and then there would have been like the characters from the Nick Fury episode, right? Like I thought for sure there was going to be this Avengers moment, and then the new Avengers for this What If show would fight the zombies. Don't ask me why I thought that. I just read into it based on what the trailer was. Clearly, I am wrong, but I have no clue. I have no clue who the heroes of this episode are going to be.
Someone in chat said that it would be. Maybe this is spoilers if you don't want to know who it could be on Wednesday. Mute for 5 seconds. I'll put my hand down when I'm done talking about it. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A lot of people are saying Winter Soldier because Winter Soldier is apparently in the books as being a portion from or a character from Earth 2149.
What?
Which is where this What If potentially took place. And it was a zombie plague that arrived on Earth 2149. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe. Could be. We'll see. Also, what the hell? I'm going to continue. This is me reading from a marvel.fandom.com. This is from the book. I didn't realize this is from the comic book. I didn't realize the comic books got this dark. After becoming infected with the zombie contagion, Bucky attacks and tries to infect and possibly rape Dazzler. Fortunately, before he is able, Ashley J. Williams arrives and blows his head off with a shotgun. I didn't realize it got
what
that.
What is happening
what's
over
going
there?
on Earth 2149? Seems a little bit, a little bit much over there. I'm looking. They also have an image of the.
Is that the comic?
Yeah. I don't think they're gonna put that in What If.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on a limb and say it probably won't make the cut.
Yeah. Maybe that's the thing that the What If people said they had to remove because it was like too much. Remember that quote that they said a while back?
Not at all.
There was a quote that they said they had to remove something because it was too dark and too much. So, I don't know. Anyways, I'm putting my hands down. We'll have to see what happens on Wednesday. Could be a wild episode. Will it be better, though, than episode 4, Jesse Cox? I don't know if it could be. I thought episode 4 was incredible.
I love this episode. I loved it.
Yeah. I think we all did. Bronze, you liked it as well, correct?
Okay.
Bronze?
How do I say this?
I
really loved like 95% of.
Why do you hate
episode.
everything, Bronze? I don't understand.
I know, right? But I just couldn't get over why he went down that path. I feel like that's such a tired thing. Like the whole
love.
Is love
tiring, Bronze?
Of course you'd think that, Bronze.
Is love tiring, Bronze? Is this what you're saying?
Of course you'd feel that way.
They did nothing to... I legit forgot Rachel McAdams was like a character in the movie because her role was so underdeveloped.
It was.
And then they didn't do the work of establishing that in a 20-minute show, like for good reason. They didn't do it, right? So when you don't do the groundwork, it just falls flat. Now, if the groundwork is there, and that these two characters really care about each other, really love each other, kind of like the Captain America episode, I think they had done a better job of Cap and Peggy Carter for that on for the short animated stuff to make sense. But maybe I'm the only one though. I just feel like she was on camera with Doctor Strange for 2 seconds. I legit don't even remember her character's name until this animated episode, and I realized I forgot it again. Like that's Christine. Thank you.
Yeah.
And the whole premise of her character was to prove that he doesn't care about anything other than really himself and his career. Because in the movie, their relationship is kind of a failed one. So the idea of bridging her and that being his impetus to go and do all this stuff, for me there was a disconnect there. But I'm also really good at suspending that, So I was still able to watch it and enjoy it. But at the first 10 minutes, I was definitely I was snoozing. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, so she's dead. And now he's going to do the tropey, we've got to get her back, And
but I feel
like I said, there's a way to do it, but you have to do it really well. And it's impossible to do it in a 30-minute animated episode unless you have the groundwork laid before that.
I think with this episode, the biggest thing is you had to have the buy-in going in that this was clearly an alternate reality where the two of them never broke up and Doctor Strange was not a piece of shit. From Jump Street, the moment the episode started, you had to buy into that concept or none of the rest of it made any sense because the Doctor Strange we know would that's not what would have happened at all. And so I don't think the setup was a little quick in that it was just look, accept this. This is what this universe is, and this is his number one concern is her. That's it. Deal with it. And so, once you bought into that concept, I think it's a little easier to swallow as a character what he was doing.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those things where they were Doctor Strange is going to be the exact Doctor Strange except this one change, which is fine, except it wasn't we're going to subtly introduce this. It was here's what it is. From the moment we start, here's what it is. This is the change. He and Christine love each other. That's it. And there was no explanation of why this was different about the other Doctor. It was just like, this is what it is. Deal with it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's, if you're a big Doctor Strange fan, like I know you are, it's an interesting sort of like, just deal with this. Just don't even think about it, which is like,
yeah, which is why I still ended up enjoying 95% of the episode because I still did like it. It's just that it's such a huge trope that if you do it, you got to do it freaking well. And we've seen people do it well, like, Daredevil and even in Into the Spider-Verse, Kingpin's character is basically obsessed with the concept of not being able to get his wife and his family back.
Right.
And in my opinion, it's done very well. But like for me in this one, and I understand why, because it's a shorter animated format, I didn't feel like it was that part of it was done very well. Like I loved, like I said, 95% of the episode, and for that I was just kind of like rolling my eyes,
Well, it's one of those things that we talked about in episode 3 when Hope just like is a plot point. And you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, they could just
she was in S.H.I.E.L.D. They just accept it. Just accept it. And you're like, what?
Yeah. You definitely have to have a little bit of like, oh, right. They can literally pull anything from the MCU world into this and just that's
discrediting that.
Yeah.
But it's all, like I said, it's also just like such a huge, like, oh yeah, the main character's wife dies or love interest dies, and then the main character. It's literally a trope. It's literally like something that's been beaten to death over and over and over again. At least the Hope thing was. Actually, no, that was the exact same.
It's all true.
Yeah, drives my point home. I really I tried to defend it and I can't.
Yeah, it's all true.
And I think we're like, oh, you're comparing like a movie to a show. No, I'm not, Smooth Brains. It's literally about like if you're gonna reuse the same trope over and over, you have to do it well. It's because otherwise it just becomes kind of gaggy. You're just kind of rolling your eyes. And with an episode that was otherwise done so well, I feel like I said, 95% of it was so good. I just don't understand why they were so hung up on this, like, because I was just laughing every time he was like, Christine, why can't we be happy? I was just like, oh my God.
That's because you're upset that he didn't say, bro.
Yeah, I think that's
why can't we be happy?
You Jesse probably just like the episode because she's a redhead, Jesse.
Yeah, no, I'll admit it though. Yes, I will admit it. Yes, for sure. No, here's what I'll say. I think the MCU Doctor Strange is, for as complicated as a character as Doctor Strange is, the MCU version of Doctor Strange is very simple in that the only things we know he cares about are 1, himself, and 2, the micro relationship we kind of got to see with Christine. That's it. Those are the only 2 things. So in an alternate reality where we still know that he's like an obsessive dude who thinks he can fix anything, when he doesn't have the problem of fixing himself, the only other problem they're allowed to have is Christine. And so that's what we got, which I think, because we haven't experienced more of his world yet. We don't know what else, unless it was like a Mordo episode where he was like, Mordo, why can't I love you? Which would have been wild. But like, I don't know. I think that you're right that there's the setup is like, okay. But the idea of the trope of person willing to risk everything to save someone from death, you're right, has been done so much. Yeah. I thought it was interesting to see the way that they had Doctor Strange do it, and that storyline, the parts where he like goes and starts stealing souls and shit, that was neat. But yeah, usually it always ends up the same way. There was no expectation of me at the end. I was like, yeah, good guy Doctor Strange is about to win this thing. I was like, no, this is a cautionary tale. This is going to end terribly. And, it did. And it was everything I wanted at that. I was like, oh, that's neat. There goes the universe. Bye. I don't know. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was why I was drawn. I was drawn to the episode for 2 reasons. One, it was like the first Marvel thing that I think they've done where it was just mega depressing, right? There was not a happy ending to this Disney film. It was just, oh, you completely destroyed your entire universe, and now you're going to live inside this little thing and you're fucked. Good luck.
Yeah.
Like the credits rolled, and I think I literally was like, that's it? Like that's how it ends? Is this? It's like very
I stuck around for post credits.
Same here. I was expecting he was gonna like break out of it or something, like anything, and it's like, nope, that's it. And the other thing that I really liked about the episode is I think we got a little bit of taste of like how strong Doctor Strange is in this, in terms of the fact that he could just like fucking destroy the universe because he starts eating other entities, cosmic beings, whatever. It didn't get stronger, and like that's the power level that he could eventually become in the MCU, which was also very exciting. And then when he actually like turned around and spoke to the Watcher, that was definitely a pretty big moment for me of like, oh shit, oh fuck.
I love that. I'm not even gonna lie. I love that shit. When it was like, because the Watcher's been in the background, and then he's like, what was that? He like heard something at first.
Yeah.
And then at one point he's like, bitch, what? I was like, ah! Yeah.
He turned around and just like fucking talked to him. It's like, holy shit. That was neat. That was a big surprise. Especially because, for the prior 3 episodes, we've been conditioned that the Watcher does not interact. And like Strange was, he was so strong and so powerful at this point that he like straight up said, hey, I know you're there, motherfucker. Like, help me fix this. And the Watcher is just like, no, I'm good. I'm going to walk away.
You're fucked. Speaking of the Watcher, this is way off topic. Have you guys seen the new, I think it's a Kia car commercial. I think it's Kia. Maybe it's some car commercial. There's a what if car commercial. It is.
Oh,
one point,
yes.
Thor is driving a car, hitting people with his hammer.
Party
and,
Thor.
The Watcher is like, what a dope ass car. It's crazy. It's supposed to be like all the TV shows. So there's Loki's in the car.
Yeah.
And then it's ridiculous.
I forgot.
I need you to
Watcher
find this commercial and watch it. The Watcher literally looks to the camera and is like,
doesn't he say like the possibilities are limitless or endless or some shit like that?
I believe he says that's a dope ass car.
I'm pretty sure that's what he Jeffrey says. Wright to say.
Jeffrey Wright says that's a dope ass car. I believe that's what he says.
No, it's a Hyundai commercial. Yes, I do recall that.
Yeah, that's a dope ass car. Yeah,
it's not.
The Watcher, he can't interact, but he knows what's up.
Jesse's gonna say this enough that it's gonna become. If
you say something enough, it can become. I've learned this.
Oh, I know.
Over the last few years.
No, a lot of people have learned that.
That's a dope ass car. I'm gonna get it. It's gonna be on Reddit. People are gonna be messaging Bronze like, "Damn, that's a dope ass car." She's gonna be like, "Jesus Christ, I can't believe this happened."
Jesse's fault. It's Jesse's fault. Yeah.
I honestly, I think the big thing with it is, you have to literally suspend all. Unlike the other episodes, this one was like, yes, that character, suspend all belief of that character. Just like, don't even worry about it. And then we're going to throw it. It had the exact same feeling as Hope, right? It was like, Hope was the linchpin to this entire story. And you're like, bitch, what? Wait, what? And I think that's the same thing here. It was a good episode, but it was a lot of buy-in on some stuff that's like, look, shut your brain off and enjoy. That's the best you can hope for sometimes.
Yeah. It is an interesting concept to think about, that for like the what if episode 2, like if you go to was T'Challa episode 2?
Yes.
That was the Star-Lord. Yeah. If you go to like episode 2, when they introduced all the characters in terms of the like, what is going to be the spin on this character in this episode, they were all a little bit more believable, kind of like what Bron said, because they were fleshed out, right? Like we understood what those characters have been in the MCU, mm-hmm. Whereas with
Absolutely.
Christine, she was in that movie for like 15 minutes. She was in like
this
a ghost
episode
scene.
Existed to die.
Yeah,
like she had no purpose in this episode except to be the one that like Christine. And because we didn't see the backstory between them, we didn't see why their love was so important. We just again had to accept their love was important.
Right, but what I'm saying is like even in the movie she wasn't fleshed out. I think Bronze was mentioning that as well, right? Like we saw her in the beginning of the movie, We saw her when Strange got his fingers all fucked. And then we saw her a little bit later when he returns as like a fucking ghost or whatever. It is flying around.
She saves him on the operating table.
Yeah. And that was it, right? Like we didn't see her apart from those 3 moments. And I don't think she's had any other cameos.
Thanks, baby girl. And that's pretty much it.
Has she been in any other aspects of the MCU? I don't think she was in any of the like Avenger stuff at all. Was she at the funeral?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, she's still alive. She'll probably be in the second one. I would expect that they're gonna, with a actress on the magnitude of Rachel McAdams, I would assume that they will utilize her again.
I mean, we'll see. I would be Bronze. What would you think if in the next Doctor Strange, suddenly it's like, hey, Rachel McAdams, I've been thinking we should totally get back together. Like if that was a plot point, there was a love story in that movie, I'm gonna say I know what I would think, but what would you think?
I'm not gonna say anything. I've decided that my input from now on every show is gonna be like, I loved it. It was so good. I would love that. I would love that for Steven to be with Christine. I would love that. That would be so good. Then she can die and he can like try to summon Yog Sothoth or whatever to like get her back. And that would be just like so perfect.
Yog Sothoth?
Why not?
Jesse's done. We got headphones. Good. We got glasses off. This is for the podcast viewers. Head and hands.
So good.
He's putting him back on now. He's coming back on board.
Yog Sothoth. Yog Sothoth. Yog Sothoth. That is Yog Sothoth is like.
Is that like Sagat from Street Fighter?
It's because he's
Yoda's voice.
He's so goth.
So goth. We're black, I do, yes. Right?
It's not Yoda.
Oh, not Yoda goth. Yog Sothoth. Right.
Yeah.
Spikes on my shoes I have, yes.
Nice.
Hot Topic I shop at.
Is there, I'm going to Google, I'm doing this. I'm going to do goth Yoda. What comes up?
You know it exists. Come on. That's been spray painted onto so many shirts.
God damn it. I shouldn't have done this. God damn it. Here's goth Yoda, everyone.
Don't listen to those people, Bronze.
This is your viewing pleasure right here.
Oh my God.
Ew.
Whoa, first off, that's
goth Yoda.
First off, that's not goth. That's emo Yoda.
Is emo
that's
Yoda?
Not goth. This is so little goth about that. That someone doesn't know what goth is.
What about this? This also might be emo. Emo Yoda.
That's emo Yoda.
Why? Hold on. Does the internet think goth and emo are the same thing?
Absolutely, they do. Those are people. You know what? Can I tell you something right now? All goth is fake, except the one time I was in Germany and standing outside a Gothic cathedral with a bunch of goth kids, and I realized all their goth is fake because those kids were literally at a Gothic cathedral dressed all in black, listening to music that was like. I was like, holy shit, those kids. That's a different level. Everyone, yeah, there you go. There you go. That's it. That's the one. That's it.
Wait, is that goth baby Yoda?
I think that's goth baby Yoda. I think that's what that is, yeah.
That's the one. That's the one.
It's gender bent goth baby Yoda, I think.
Oh, we're there.
Anyways.
Don't let anyone tell you what to love or hate, Bronze. Don't let anyone tell you.
That is true.
I don't want you on this show saying what you love.
And
I need you to tell me what you hate.
It's true.
I need you to break it down for me. That's what I likes. When you're like, you know what I hate? And I'm like, oh, here we go. It's gonna be good.
It's true.
You're like, this is the good stuff. And then you're like, shut up. You like redheads. I'm like, damn right I do, baby.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you how much I'm gonna say I loved 95% of Shang-Chi, and then I'm gonna tell you about the 5% I was like, what the hell was that? And don't worry, people would come at me. They're gonna come at me too. Don't you worry. I'm gonna let you know the 5% I didn't like. Hashtag Ninja Boba Fett. We'll talk about that later.
I should have gotten the spoiler stuff set up.
Ninja Boba Fett.
Ninja Boba Fett. I gotta talk about that. I gotta talk about Ninja Boba Fett. I got things to say.
You have to. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of the what if episode. It was a depressing, dark episode, and I think it did that well. It left me thinking like, oh shit, Marvel can do like a sad, depressing type deal.
But it also opened up so much other stuff where it was like, we're gonna talk about other realities and other, like, all these different monsters and creatures. We're gonna talk, like, he went to like a temple that I don't even know where that temple was supposed to be, and then he was there for hundreds of years or some nonsense. Like time stopped flowing.
I thought,
like, yeah, like the things they added to it to sort of make it even more of that supernatural. I thought that was awesome, and I'm excited for that when it comes to the rest of Marvel right now. And I think Shang-Chi was a great, like, little entranceway into the more wild stuff. So I'm ready. Let's get crazy, Marvel.
True. I agree.
You know, this episode did remind me why I love Doctor Strange comics so much, because I think you do have more leeway with how you can write them, in the sense that at any point in time, you can just say, no, you can't do that. If it's like, well, why? Because the universe would end. And it always makes sense. Like, it's like, well, this is a problem. Why don't we just go back in time? Or why don't we just, and it's like, well, we can't. Why? Because the universe would end. And this is like a big thing, I feel like, in the comics, especially the older ones, like from the 70s and 80s. And a lot of times, like, Doctor Strange will have like a really cool artifact or something like that. It's like, why not just use that to fix this? And every time it's like, well, I can't. It's like, why? It's like, because that'll create a trans-dimensional anomaly, and the universe will start eating itself. And you as the reader are like, I can't say that wouldn't happen because I don't know how the astral plane works. And you just accept it.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like with like we were talking about the Black Widow movie, when you go into these movies, you do suspend some belief. But when you start seeing Black Widow's character smashing against all this machinery and all these flying parts, it's really hard to kind of stay there, right? It's really hard to kind of stay in this mindset of like, what the, like, come on, she'd be dead like 6 times over by now, right? Like, she's just a normal human. But I feel like with Doctor Strange, you can very easily up the scale of everything to match his power level, which, as we've seen in Marvel in general, and in comic books in general, is they always have to come up with a reason. It's almost like a D&D game. After leveling up the characters, it's like a bad DM. They have to come up with a reason, like, well, you lose your magic powers, or you are suddenly level 2 again, right? Like, whereas like with Doctor Strange, they don't have to do that. That was one of my big disconnects with Iron Man. I feel like there's always a reason Iron Man doesn't have his suits, or he destroys all his suits, or he nukes all his, because like they kept upping the power level of his suits instead of upping the stakes or the power level of his enemies. I feel like that's where they really fumbled with Iron Man 3, is they had to come up with a reason why he didn't have his suits, or he destroyed all his suits, or he decided to do something. And maybe that's just my opinion, but I feel like they do that all the time, where there's a reason, like this really cool thing the character unlocked at the end of the last movie. They don't have access to that now. And the reason they don't have access to that is because they decided to put it in the ocean, and now they can't use it anymore.
Yeah.
But with Doctor Strange, I love that what if kind of was, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I was like, I feel like they kind of teased that the stakes are just going to get bigger. They're not going to be like, well, he doesn't have his cloak anymore, and he doesn't have this spell anymore, and he doesn't have his stuff anymore. So fighting this guy's going to be harder. It's like, no. He is getting more and more powerful, and because of that, the stakes are getting more and more powerful. And they've kind of hinted at that already with the Spider-Man trailer, where it's like, oh, Doctor Strange's magic prowess is growing, and as it grows, he's able to do crazier and crazier and crazier shit. It's like, yeah, but what happens when he messes up the spell? What happens when he makes a bad decision, or when this backlashes? It's literally universe ending.
Yeah.
And you as the audience don't have to think too hard about it and be like, well, that doesn't make sense. No, because we don't even know how this stuff works. We can easily just say like, oh yeah, that would create a temporal anomaly and a arcane backlash that would reverse the morality of every superhero. Makes sense to me. You just take it on faith because it's magic shit. It doesn't have to make sense.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Sorry, as the end of my rant.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
That was my favorite thing about the episode. Is you could at any point in time just say, well, if he did that, like I said, the universe would eat itself. And you're like, the universe has eyes and a mouth and it's a living thing? Yeah. And it would eat itself. Like,
it could be.
Oh, okay, shit.
It's true.
Damn.
We didn't mention, or I don't think anyone's mentioned the like art aesthetic of the What If series. I think worked really well, at least for me, throughout this entire episode. I loved the idea of like, once he started breaking reality, or reality started like, I don't know, disappearing, everyone had like this weird like black shadow type deal coming off their bodies, and that looked badass. I thought the fight scene between Doctor Strange and Doctor Strange at the end of the end of the episode was like incredible with how the art works. It just looked incredible. The two cloaks fighting, even though it's kind of like a little side character deal, that was awesome. And I think, whereas in episode 3, I remember saying like, I don't think this looks very great in action. Might have just been that sequence of like seeing Nick Fury do a backflip up in the air when it wasn't Nick Fury that kind of threw me for a loop. I thought this action was like incredible. I thought if this is where they're going with this type of stuff, it's great. And maybe it just works when they're casting spells, and I like bright colors and I'm easy to please when it's like flashy and whatnot. But I thought it was really, really cool looking from start to finish of the episode. I thought it all looked fantastic.
I'm sure Jesse's going to have something to say about this, but the only part that weirded me out about the animation was in episode 1 and in this episode.
Yeah.
And it's how the tentacles are animated, where it almost looks like the Darkest Dungeon.
A little bit.
I'm not trying to be weird. I'm not trying to be weird.
How would you like the tentacles to look?
No, but
what would you prefer?
Are
How
you
would you prefer
a tentacle connoisseur, Bronze?
Yeah,
this
Bronze,
is your fault, Bronze. You roped yourself into this situation.
Like,
you tentacled yourself into the situation, Bronze. Is what one could
I don't know
say.
how to describe it. It almost looks like, how do I describe it? It almost looks like someone took a picture and then just did this. Does that make sense?
Did what?
It's like somebody took a picture.
So they weren't like wiggly enough
and
for
just,
you. There weren't enough frames per second on those wiggles.
I don't even know how to describe it, but it almost looks like a video game effect. Like when you it looks like Darkest Dungeon.
Okay.
Sure.
I don't know how to describe it. But in episode 1, when they came out of the portal 2, it looked like a Darkest Dungeon.
So you like a little bit more lively tentacle than
God damn it.
No, this is a serious question though.
Yeah,
I think the entendres are going to be there. But you like a little bit more lively tentacle rather than what was in.
Was the size of the tentacle that was the problem?
They were same size as episode 1. I don't know if it's the size.
Oh, all right. I mean, did you have a problem with them in episode 1?
Yes, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
In episode 1, they looked weird to me.
It could be the size.
Like, look, curious. Bronze. Look in. You see in my chat. Is that enough? The Cox wiggle emote.
Yes.
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 That's a good tentacle.
Yeah, I assume that's what they're gonna look like, but I feel like every time the portal opens, it's just like fun. Those like cans with the surprises in them. It's just like.
I wonder if
that's kind of weird.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I wonder if that's.
Thank you.
I wonder if it's because the creature on the other end of that is so large that those tentacles can't actually move that fast because it's like a gargantuan being.
Oh, that would make more sense.
I also keep expecting them to do something fun with it, and it's still just the same tentacles over and over again.
Yeah,
And
I keep
thinking like we're
Shuma
gonna see an
Garoth is
eye.
going to show up.
Like
Yeah,
I'm waiting for an eye to pop out every time, and it
that.
never happens.
Yeah, I really want to see like, oh, we summoned something through a fucking portal. Oh, and that's the end of the episode. It's Shuma Garoth. He just ate everything.
I don't know.
I would love to see that. Yeah, maybe in the final episode is like Shuma shows up and just destroys something.
You know, speaking of like movie to animation sort of like callbacks, I know that Star Wars did this a lot, where if there was a movie coming out, there'd be something in one of the Star Wars shows that would kind of connect. And it would be in a way that you'd be like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. Even though I don't know it's a direct connection, I like the idea that in this episode and in our new movie, Shaun of the Chi, there is like the idea of sucking souls in order to power yourself.
Sure.
Is in both films. Or is in both things. The show and the movie. Yeah. And I was like, interesting. And I know, you know, it's kind of that reinforcement thing that I think they did a lot with Star Wars, and now they're definitely doing with Marvel, where it's like, if we keep hammering home a concept, no one will question any of this, and we can use it as much as we want.
When it actually happens. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. Yeah. All right. So,
yeah. All right. Well, I think we're all chomping at the bit to talk about Shang-Chi. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, we're going to go full bore into the movie. We're going to talk about everything from start to finish. There will be spoilers everywhere, and thus why the spoiler alert tag has been made here in the past 30 seconds. Spoiler alert. If you got to go, you got to go. And we'll see you in 40 days. Yeah, if you haven't seen the movie
and you don't want to get spoiled, please don't spoil yourself. It's neat. It's a cool-ass movie. It was extremely unexpected. It's one of those movies where I went in expecting one thing, got a totally different film, and was like, I enjoyed that quite a great deal. So
I agree.
You know,
all right.
Don't get your ass spoiled if you don't want it.
We're starting the spoilers in 5, in 4, in 3, in 2, in 1. What the fuck happened to Bruce at the end of the movie? Why does he back?
I have so many questions about that post-credit scene. I have so many questions. Because I thought it was going to be a post-credit scene that was going to have, like, an answer.
Yeah.
And all it did was be like...
Just got more questions.
It was like the 10 rings. There's something about them. A beacon. They're calling something. I was like, oh, shit.
I think that's an Eternals thing. I think that's an Eternals call. I have no clue
what it means. There wasn't even a hint. There was zero hints in it.
Because in the comics, the 10 rings are an alien artifact that Wenwu finds in a crashed alien spaceship. And so I think that's probably one of the Celestials coming for Earth or something. I don't know. That's my guess.
If it's like, and then Fing Fang Foom shows up.
That'd be great too.
Like, hello, I've come from space. He like, woo, his little legs carry him. That would be amazing.
That'd be good.
That would be the worst decision Marvel has ever made.
That'd be good.
I've come back for my rings. His little tiny like mustache. Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of theories that it was some like I think Galactus is too early. Unless this is like a 5-year pulling Galactus. Yeah, I don't know why he wouldn't have that.
How would they they be like that? The rings wouldn't fit anywhere on his body ever.
Yeah.
So why would the rings be? What would they be?
I agree.
And it would kind of like subvert the purpose of the Herald.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, maybe Silver Surfer wants his rings. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Did they only? This is a question. Was it to be assumed that they only started pinging whatever they're pinging when he put them on?
I think
aside from his father.
Yeah, that's what they said.
When they turn to like pure light energy.
That's what Wong said. Is when the fight started happening. He said something like, "We felt it all the way here in the sanctum that Wong resides over, whose name I'm forgetting." But he says
Sacred
that very line.
Sanctorum?
Yeah, he's got like a special one for, or special name for the one that he resides over. But it very much was like, yeah, we felt that all the way from here the second that you and your father started fighting. And that's when the ring started like emitting that stuff. Yeah, Kamar Taj. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
What's also interesting is that they included for some reason. I mean, I guess I get why they included Carol and Bannon.
That was like the welcome to the Avengers type deal. One also because Carol's actress Brie Larson worked with the director of Shang-Chi for a previous film, and also Mark Ruffalo is currently filming She-Hulk, and so I think he was there because they're going to explain how the fuck he got back to normal in She-Hulk. And so I think that's why the two of them are there. Plus, they're also like, the tech brains of the Avengers.
Sure.
Now.
Yeah. One space and one sort of like I get it. I just thought it was interesting that it's like, all right, it was funny that they were like, yeah, I don't know what it is. I got stuff to do. Bye. Like that was their cameo.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I looked into it. Couldn't figure it out. It's not space stuff. See you later. And Bruce was like, yeah, I don't know either. Bye. oh, never mind. And he was like,
she always does
that. Crazy. About to go real crazy for you kids, which I actually think is fun. I think it's fun that, great. Yeah, you have Hawke being like, bro, you're about to enter a new world. Welcome. I thought that's neat.
Yeah. Like, okay. Yeah. Anyways, I jumped to the end before we even talked about the rest of the film. I thought the film was great. I think if we're making grandiose statements right at the start, I think it's the best origin film out of Marvel. I think they have like figured out that formula, or at least a formula for how to do a proper origin film. And I also think I think there's an argument. I don't think it's the de facto, but I think it has arguably the best action sequences in the entirety of the MCU.
Oh, I would 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Some of the action sequences in the past have done that. Like, look, I don't know who invented it. I hate it. That shaky cam shit, I hate so much.
Yeah.
When it's like close combat action, and in order to hide the fact that it's actors literally just going like, right? Like,
it's like it's a character select screen.
Yes, they shake the camera violently. Yeah. I hate that. They use it so much, and I'm like, I want to watch the fight. I don't want to watch you feel the action. Like, I don't want to feel the action. I want to watch the dudes fight. And so, being able to see actual like dope ass fighting in a movie, I was like,
yeah, I thought it was, and it wasn't like, I think everyone immediately goes to the bus scene, which was incredible, but even that opening scene, like straight from the start of the movie, it's subtitled, it's not in English, and I was like I guess surprised was the feeling of like, oh shit, they're actually like doing this, right? Like they're not catering to like a Western audience in this. Like they're straight up, this is subtitles, not English. And then here's a fucking sick ass fight scene where they're going to love fighting each other so much that they fall in love.
I wasn't even thinking about that scene. I was thinking about the opening was literally Dynasty Warriors.
Oh, sure. Okay.
That man.
Okay. I get that.
Flinging around bodies. I was like, this is like Dynasty Warriors and it's amazing.
I get that.
It went Dynasty Warriors and then right into like Hidden Dragon, Crouching, whatever that is.
Yeah.
You know the movie?
Oh, yeah.
Like right into that vibe of like, and now these two are going to fight and twirl around and like fall in love. And I was like,
yeah.
I love it.
And it was that fight scene was just from the Dynasty Warrior scene was great and all. But like that was a very, I don't know how to, like, it was a very aggressive, like action oriented style scene. Whereas I thought it
was great.
Yeah. I thought, they were both great. I thought the scene after that in the forest was like, I was watching every single thing that they were doing rather than like watching the effect of it, if that made sense. Like she was in a lot of ways, it was a dance more so than a fight. It was beautiful. It was phenomenal. I thought every action or scene, even the final one, which I am curious for you guys. I'm jumping ahead and I want to pull Bronze, get your thoughts, but that final scene, I had a little hard, maybe I'm old. Maybe it was the size of the screen. I had a hard time keeping track of what the fuck was happening on screen between the two dragons. Cause it was like it wasn't overly busy. It was just such a big sequence that like I'm very excited to watch that on a smaller screen so that I can actually like take note of what the hell those two dragons were doing at the very end.
Where were you sitting in the theater?
I was dead center. Dead center, like eye level for center of the screen.
How big of a theater was this?
You know, that's it was a bigger screen. It wasn't an IMAX or anything, but it is a bigger screen than like a normal movie theater.
So, I mean, I saw it in like just a normal theater, but I was like dead center too. And I got it all, baby.
Yeah.
I was like in it.
Might
yeah,
just
that
be
was
me
so
getting
neat.
old. Yeah. I had no problem seeing like, because they kind of slow it down when he's like falling through the air, then fucking
he does a spin for some reason.
Whatever he does, he does the spin and then he like explodes the dragon. It's like, oh, okay, great.
It was
badass. That
was exactly as over the top as I wanted it to be.
It was.
I was like, yes, yeah, that was great.
It was great. It was great. But I am eager for that to come to a smaller screen. I'll probably grab it here in 40 days or so I can watch that sequence again. Bronze, what was your take on it? I think me and you were the first between the three of us to have a conversation on Twitter, and I was blowing you up like, you gotta go fucking see this movie right now. This is the greatest thing.
It was, I'm sorry, I'm collecting my thoughts on it. I think my favorite thing about it is it was very unapologetic in its approach, which I think is something that a lot of films like this kind of shy away from, where it's like, oh, well, if we're super cultural, is that going to make us too woke or all that? And the thing is like the people that are going to say that, you're never going to make them happy. So you might as well make the movie you want to make.
Sure.
And like we discussed, like there's so many different touchstones and homages to like kung fu films and Hong Kong action cinema, like in this, even like the fight on the bamboo scaffolding, like there's just so many little things. I loved it. I loved even like the color grading in a lot of the scenes, like the scene where he first meets Tony Learn's character first meets like his love interest, his wife, his future wife. It kind of reminded me of like House of Flying Daggers and like those films where the bamboo forest and like the way the color was done on that is like, it looks surreal. It looks like something like Jesse was saying out of Dynasty Warriors or out of like an RPG. It doesn't look real. It's not aspiring to realism. It's aspiring to like mythology.
Jade Empire, was that the name of the old
Xbox game?
Xbox original?
Yeah.
Had that vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. And just like the small like things. I love that because the fight choreography was great, but there's several different martial arts styles used in the movie, including like some that are like more Tai Chi based. And I loved that idea of like bringing back that whole, because we only saw a glimpse of it in Doctor Strange, like when she draws like that circle with her foot is such an iconic like it's such an iconic like just like film thing that I love. I've seen so many people do that where they like draw a circle around them like in the leaves or in the dirt, and it's like, you know, bring it. The amount of times they like hit those poses, but like in this, you know, both her and Michelle Yeoh's character do that circle, and then like this like almost boom, like reaches out of like, you know, the energy or like the you know that I love.
Isn't that supposed to be like the chi? Isn't that them like harnessing their chi?
Yeah, it's like life force, right? And
yeah.
so I love that they like made that like a real thing. I just loved it. And I have to say, this is my favorite love story I've ever seen in the MCU.
Yeah. Between Wenwu
they had
and
me,
the
I was crying in the club. You know, I saw it coming. But I loved that they held back that he became a better man till the last third of the film. Because you're just assuming, oh, she married this piece of shit.
Right.
He continued being a piece of shit. And then she died. And oh no, he's a piece of shit. And we were just talking about tropes earlier. This is what I mean. I was trying to hold back from spoilers. This is what I mean when I say like really, like if you're going to do it, you got to do it amazingly well. And for him, it was like he was a piece of shit, a warlord, basically a terrorist, and he put those rings away and was like, I could die Like I could give up immortality and die because I love her so much.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing is he never beats her. Like it is heavily like she's the only person that up until the end can whoop his ass.
Right.
Without the 10 rings, right? So it's just like to me like that, because I feel like to have that moment come full circle instead of me rolling my eyes, where when you realize just one line towards the end where he says like, you've always ran away. You watched your mom die. And that informs why he's like, I'm going to make my kid the strongest kid in the freaking universe so that this little shit doesn't stand behind a curtain when my wife dies. Like it really, I don't know. For me, like holding that back until the end versus like letting you know that at the beginning was a great storytelling thing, because they never tell you that he took off the rings until the latter half of the movie. And then you realize, oh my God, no, he took off the rings and was like, I'll leave these, in a crate forever. And my kids will, and then like the fact that he doesn't start, Shang-Chi's training until his mom dies, like stuff like that was like so cool. And the way it was edited into the film, the pacing of it, in my opinion, was brilliant.
Yeah.
And the reason he trains him, the reveal is like, I'm going to let you be the one to kill the dude that killed your mom in front of you. And like he thinks he's doing his son a service. Like this is going to set everything right. And yeah, I love that reveal. I love the fact that this movie had that sort of like dysfunctional family vibe where it's a dad who definitely thinks he's doing the right thing and he's getting revenge and the only way he knows how. And so it like humanizes a like immortal person. And then you have the son and daughter who's like, look, I let you spend 10 years doing whatever so you get out of your system, and now we got stuff to do.
Yeah.
And
now we got to take over the world.
Yeah, it's super interesting to see the way they did that with these characters. Again, totally on. I don't know what I thought this movie was going to be, but what it was nowhere near what my expectations were going.
Same here.
I loved every minute of it.
I didn't expect. I think for me, the thing I did not expect was for the characters and the story threads that connect all of them to be as good as they were. And I didn't expect, only because I'm very ignorant to the rest of Tony Leung's work. I'm ignorant on how to pronounce his name as well. But I didn't know like how good of an actor he is. Everyone was like, oh, he's a legendary actor, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, cool. Then he'll be good. Then I got in the movie. I was like, holy shit, this guy's like, this is the best villain I've seen in like a one film, go, right? Like, I think it's
like
unfair to compare it to other villains that have multiple characters. But yeah, it was his story. You're right. It was a lot of ways half him or 3/4 him and 1/4 Shang-Chi.
And he deserved it though. As a character, even though he has many names in this, the Mandarin character deserves to have a real story based on the way he existed so far in the MCU, them giving him a thing, even a scene where he can be like, dude, they named me after orange chicken. Like having having that moment I thought was really cool and like a great thing. And then look, I don't know what the general consensus is, but I love that they threw Trevor in this movie.
I thought he was phenomenal. I thought he was a link to the rest of the MCU. That was what his entire purpose was for me.
And I like that. I don't know that I like that he's like the dude who's like, come with me and I'll take you to the world of fantasy. I don't know if I like that part.
I love that part.
But I like that. I like that he's
dumb.
Included. What I do love, there's like a weird disconnect. I love Trevor in this movie, and I love the fantasy in this movie. I don't know that I like that Trevor's the one that took them to the fantasy world. But I will say,
yeah, I mean, it wasn't necessarily him. It kind of was, but it wasn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was the little tiny, like, no-faced cutie pie.
It was the Disney icon bullshit, yeah.
But the thing that, I mean, like, yes, I will say that Planet of the Apes scene was the funniest moment, I'm going to say, of all of Marvel. I laughed so hard. Holy shit. He's like, how they get those monkeys to ride those horses? I was dying.
Dude, for me, the biggest pop-off in our theater was right after that, when he's looking at the horse dragon thing and he goes, "That's a funny looking horse," and then they just stare at each other like,
yes.
I don't know why that was like such a good laugh, but Erin was sitting next to me, and she generally doesn't like laugh that hard. She was like dying. She had to like cover her mouth and like get herself to stop.
I love the thing I think I love about his character is he's so not in the he's not in the MCU. Everyone else in the MCU exists in the MCU. He's like outside of it in a weird place. Even the fact that like during the battle they had to cut to him and do like, and then he died, and he's like, "No, I'm just get down here, idiot." I'm not dead.
I saw him, I was like, "He's not dead. He's acting." Right?
I like can't believe this is a thing. I was like, can't believe they're doing this right now. Yeah. But what I did love about the whole thing is the minute they went into, they were like, "F it, we're going full mythology."
Yeah,
I was so hype when they were just dropping like ancient mythological creatures that were not Greco-Roman ancient mythological creatures. I was like, ooh, they're about to inspire like a bunch of little nerdlings to look this stuff up. And I was so thrilled about that whole thing that, being a person that is super into all mythological stuff, seeing more Asian like creatures, it's not something we get a lot of here in the States. And so that was pretty awesome. Yeah. And being able to like see them, especially, a lot of it, if you play games like Final Fantasy 14 and stuff, you see that stuff all the time. But like, not a lot of people are like, "Oh, what's that? Oh, what's that?" And so I love the idea of people getting into those creatures, especially with the gateway creature of Morris, the little tiny cutie pie. That's the gateway creature. Yeah. Now people are like, I want a plushie of that. And soon they're going to have like Kirins and stuff. It'd be amazing. All I'm saying is, loved it. I love they had the balls to be like, it isn't just a dragon. It isn't just like a flashback or in his imagination. They're literally going to an alternate dimension where like people exist to keep a dark monster at bay.
Yeah,
and a weird thing.
Let's talk about that for a second.
I love this
because didn't his aunt, his mom's, I think his mom's sister, who was teaching them about the village, didn't she say when she was on like that wall that was explaining their history? Didn't she say something to the effect of like, in your universe?
Yeah, no, this was a different universe.
Yeah.
This was literally a different universe.
What the fuck? Like, how did they feel that all the way back in Wong's world?
They straight up, well, that's what I'm saying. That's why it has to be that powerful, which again makes, all I'm saying is they did the trope, again, back to Bronze's like cool tropes. They did the trope where like you walk through a portal and then suddenly end up in a tunnel of stars, and that tunnel of stars leads you to an alternate reality. Yeah. And they did that here. It was like a water portal, and then the tunnel was a literal tunnel that had like little tiny sparklies in it. But that's like a famous trope of like the tunnel of stars leads to an alternate reality. Yeah. And they just straight up did it. And I was like, okay. I did not think we'd exist in a world where they just like have a bunch of 9-tailed foxes running around.
That was
I didn't think we'd end up there. I didn't think we'd end up there at all.
It was a little weird. I immediately, the second that we started like experiencing that world, I was like, this is a fucking Pokemon movie, right? Like it looked like Pokemon.
It was great. Yeah.
We're running around. Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was cool.
Now, can I mention something that can I do a thing I didn't like? Can we do a little let's do it. Yeah. Why was it in Macau? Why was it in Madripoor? Why, when they had to go to a place, did they go to Macau and not a place that's already been set up in the MCU? And once again, the fandom was wrong, as we always are.
Right.
Where it was like, this whole scene between Wong and Abomination is going to be important. That shit, it meant nothing.
It was,
it existed to exist.
It was important because they like, for me, it was important because after the fight, they're definitely friends and they're definitely going somewhere. And I couldn't pause it. So I didn't get to see into the little portal of like where they were going.
I don't know that it was played again, rather than it was the exact same situation as, oh my God, is that Quicksilver? No, that's Ralph. This was, oh my God, is Abomination fighting Wong? No, they're just buddies and they did it for the money.
Yeah. But why?
That's what happened.
Yeah, maybe it was the raft. Maybe he like got him out of there. I don't know.
to answer your question about why I think it was Macau, Macau actually does, I think, last time I looked it up, 4 to 5 times the amount of money goes in and out of Macau than out of Las Vegas when it comes to gambling.
I believe that. No, yeah.
It is the gambling capital of the world.
So to have like a fight ring.
And for some reason in the West, it's like we've never heard of it, you know? Macau is huge. And the baccarat tables there, like the millions that come in and out of there, it is the gambling capital of the world and not just Asia.
That's where like actual rich people go to gamble. Yeah.
Yeah. So for there to be like a gambling house there, to me made sense. Because I was like, oh yeah, if she's running a fight club where once again they're broadcasting this stuff on the dark web, why not showcase a city that does not get enough love in the media? We see like Vegas and New York and San Francisco like all the time.
Yeah.
Why not put Macau on the map? And not that they need to be put on the map. So a poor choice of words, but why not give it a little shine?
But I don't think they like even featured it though. It was like they said it's Macau.
What?
And then
I thought some of the
they did like a slow.
We saw one wide shot and it was beautiful. We saw a beautiful wide shot, but then everything else was in that one building.
Yeah.
And so I
see what you're saying. It could have very well existed in Madripoor because like
that's what I'm saying. I feel like them setting up Madripoor and then not using it, it feels weird to me. But you know, again, love the movie. It's just like a little little nitpick.
Yeah,
you know, whatever.
I
have another one too, and it's really upsetting. Before
you do that, did y'all catch any of the like kind of Easter egg stuff in the long walk to the arena? There were in some of those fighting rooms. There was like a Black Widow that was fighting. There was
one of the Extremis guys from Iron Man.
There was an Extremis guy fighting in there. Yeah. It was kind of cool to see that type of stuff. Again, I think it was like, while a lot of movies try to really rein in the idea that's like, oh yeah, this is a part of the MCU, blah, blah, blah. This one was all about just like the small little shit that like brought it in. And it was really done
so much better.
It's so much better.
It's so much better.
They don't need to beat you over the head.
Yes, it's in the world. It like for as much as I love the Spider-Man movies, the last one loved to hammer home the fact that Tony's dead. We're gonna remind you every damn scene. Yeah. It's like, look, we all know Tony's dead. Peter knows Tony's dead. We don't like, you know, and I think sometimes Marvel really heavy hands like, what message are we trying to get across? Or, oh, hey, that character, you should know them from something else.
Yeah.
And I think this movie did it great. And they were just like, we're going to, that Extremis character, I think was on screen 0.5 seconds, but you could see the way his body was colored. And everyone who's seen, Iron Man 3 immediately was like, oh, and that's all you need. That's it.
Yeah.
I thought it was very well done. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the other thing you didn't like? Is this where I think
Boba Fett?
Yeah. So why don't you like this guy? Why don't you like the Death Dealer?
So Death Dealer already has an amazing name, looks amazing, is like the coolest looking character in this entire movie. I was like, oh my God, this guy is awesome. He plays a key role in Sean's background where he is like the dude who's like abusing him to teach him to become a better warrior. He kicks his ass like a ton. He is this, and then they have one fight that is barely a fight, and then the dad shows up and breaks the fight up. And I was like, oh man, I can't wait until later on they throw down. Dude does not show up again until the end of the movie. He's in one scene looking cool, and then the next time you see him, he's the guy who gets his soul sucked out first. The very first guy. He is literally the Boba Fett of this movie, where he looks the coolest. He's the coolest dude in the film. He looks like he's the most biggest badass. And then the first thing that get killed is him. And I know what they were trying to do. They were like, oh, well, this guy who looks like a badass and is definitely a badass, because he gets killed first, you can see how threatening the villain is.
Exactly.
I get what they're doing. Why not do that with the old blade hand? That guy totally useless.
I agree.
Totally useless.
I agree.
It is kind of stupid
that he lived. Old blade hand.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they should have kept the trainer, because he was the Death Dealer guy, because he was way cooler.
I agree.
Take Blade Hand and let us keep Death Dealer.
Yes, the trainer had a purpose. The story he could have been used in the future because you don't see who's behind the mask. So that can be anyone. It can be any actor, and it looks amazing. And instead, the second post-credit scene we get is his sister being like, I run this shit now. And old Blade Fist is like, and I am here too. You're like, shut up, shut up.
Yeah, I think
the Death Dealer would have made more sense there.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I was so disappointed. I was like,
well,
here's the coolest.
Here's the
thing.
They're
like, and then he's murdered.
If they here's the thing. If they kill Razor Fist, you can't do another Razor Fist. If they kill a Death Dealer, you can just have another Death Dealer pop up.
But Razor Fist had a dope ass fight scene already in the bus.
Yeah, the
Razor Fist was like the #1 goon for the Mandarin. Razor Fist was like, he had a bunch of different scenes. They stole his car. At that point, he was played for a joke.
Did you notice, by the way, his mixtape or his like own album was what was playing in the car?
Yes. Yeah.
They went full stupid.
I saw Black Hole Sun. Did I see Black Hole Sun? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I think as a character played his role to the point where you know what a threat he is, and him being the guy who gets off by the monster makes sense. We never truly saw the threat posed by Death Dealer, a dude whose name sounds awesome, who looks like he's designed to. He straight up got the Captain Phasma treatment, where like everyone's like, that's the badass, that is the badass, and then like down the garbage chute. I don't know. I was so upset by that. It is a nitpick. It didn't ruin the movie for me at all. But like as a person who wanted to see that character like have a scene, like have a dope ass fight scene,
let me ask
that
you
character
this,
like really throw down with someone. That the fact that it didn't happen, I was like, come on.
Let me ask you this though.
I don't know.
If there's another Shang-Chi movie or the 10 Rings pop up somewhere else, and there's a person that looks identical to Death Dealer wearing the entire Death Dealer garb called Death Dealer, does that satiate your appeal for Death Dealer?
I would be fine with it, but I think most of the audience would say, did that character die before?
Yeah, then and then they could flesh it out a little bit of like what this actually, if this is more of a title or a rank than a person necessarily.
All I'm saying is Death Dealer's a character doesn't matter to me at all. But the fact that they included the character and then made that character part of the backstory was a choice they made. Yeah. And then there was no like, oh, well, he's going to have he's going to show Death Dealer that he's become stronger than Death Dealer. Or he's going to they had a fight that was about to be cool as hell in that, like the back. I was waiting for like the famous tropey backlit shot where they're like shadows fight. I was waiting for that whole thing. And then it was like dad shows up, is like, stop fighting, you two idiots.
Right.
And then there was nothing. And then dude did nothing else the entire movie except die at the end. I was like, man, got Sarlacc pitted. That's rude as hell. That's rude as hell for that guy. I was like, that dude deserved better. That man deserved better. I was waiting for it.
I get the Boba Fett name now.
Yeah.
To piggyback off your point, though, I will say one thing I really like about this movie is that Shang-Chi himself is not like a perfect person.
Right. Yeah.
And I feel like this is a mistake they make with almost every minority character, where they have to be flawless because they're minorities and therefore they can't have any grit to them. So when he was fighting Death Dealer and he has the knife and he's got him on the ground, he flashes back to how much this dude abused him, and he 100% was going to stab that guy in the throat.
Oh yeah.
It is not up for debate. He was going to kill him. He killed his mom's killer, and he lied to Awkwafina's character about it, Katie about it. He killed that dude. He left his sister. And I love that they don't shy away from that. I love that she lets it go because there's a bigger problem, but I do not think she has let it go. I don't think she'll ever let it go. He said he was going to be back in 3 days. It's been how many years? He couldn't look her up. He couldn't find her. How many years? Who does that? That y'all, that's super fucked up.
Yeah.
His sister was trapped in his abusive father's realm, and I get that he was more abusive to Sean, but ignoring someone is also pretty abusive, just saying. And he did not even bother to look her up and see if she was okay or rekindle or try to get her out. That is messed up to tell somebody you're going to be gone for 3. He 100% deserved to be roundhouse kicked in the face. I would have done it too. But I like that because it makes us more like invested in him, and that like every time they tell you like you are just as much your father as you are your mother, they follow it up. They're not just saying that. They're not just like saying, "Oh, you're your dad's legacy and your mom's legacy." Like, no. They mean it, and the writing reflects it. He is completely like a product of his mother and his father.
Yep.
And it's like like that trope of like two wolves. And sometimes, this is my favorite thing. Sometimes the Tony Learn wolf wins. And we see that, and I like it. I think that is such a cool. I love that we have a character that has killed people that's not just Black Widow, and that would potentially do it again. And to tie into that scene where his father doesn't even have to lay a finger on him, and he says, I told my men they wouldn't be able to kill you. Come on, it's time to go home. And they just come. I gotta tell you, as an Asian kid, that shit was so relatable. If my dad was like, I don't care how many years it's been since I've talked to him, my dad was like, Jasmine, get in the car. I'd be like, yep. Like there's like that quiet, like, yeah, I could not fathom talking back to my father. Right. You know, like I would run away but not talk back to him. And they did such a good job with all of the Asian family dynamics. You know, I'm Indian. I'm not Chinese, but like it is very relatable in the sense that like you cannot fathom talking back to this person or being disrespectful. Like it's you would rather run away and live and change your name than have a confrontation with your dad or tell him that you don't agree with him on something. And the one time he does, and his dad flips him on his ass in front of his whole army and says like, shut the fuck up. It is a huge moment because everyone's like, oh my God, did you just talk away from your dad? Or did you just talk back to your dad? And even the scene in the beginning with the family being like, when are you going to aspire to be more?
Right.
When are you going to?
There's a lot of that. I mean, even the grandmother, like, was it Katie's grandmother?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who was, sending prayers to her husband. And even the smaller shit. Like I went back and read a bunch of small shit that I just, I'm not aware of all that stuff. There was a long shot of when Shang-Chi walks into Katie's family's house, apartment, whatever. I didn't realize there was a shot of him like taking off his shoes that they very purposely put in there.
I noticed that immediately. That there's a shoe rack in an area where you take your shoes off.
I
have that in my home.
There was another like quadruple entendre that I didn't even know about, but that's how good of a line it was when they are entering into the fighting ring or whatever, and there's the guy who makes who introduces, he's got kind of like a faux Hawke type deal, and he says to Katie, I didn't know you speak English or something like that, or Katie says to him, I didn't know you speak English, and then he responds, I know my ABCs. And to me, I'm like,
I speak ABC.
Or I speak ABC, and it's like, oh, okay, that means he speaks English. Everyone else from or who was Asian knows that is, I'm American-born Chinese, I think is what that means. And so it has a completely different meaning to someone else of that culture. Where to me, it's like, oh, okay, works for me, works for an entire different group. And it was just like such a great line after reading about all that type of shit. And there's things littered throughout the entire movie.
We had a movie called ABCD, and it was American-born Confused Thissy, which is like, this is the word for people from the subcontinent. So like, yeah, like a lot, basically I feel like most Asian minorities in America have an AB something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this movie also did a great job of during the scene where they were all sitting around eating dinner with their dad. The idea of him saying, what's your name? She's like, my name's Katie. And he's like, no, but like, what's your name though? And I think a lot of especially white dude Americans don't get that, a lot of people who are in the United States who are Asian are not like, my name's John or my name's Katie. They have like, a real name, and they put that shit on for us because we can't pronounce it because we dumb as shit. Like, that's what it's about. I was like, gotcha. Speaking of family, going back to what you're saying earlier, Bronze, I love the idea that every time anyone talks with Shang-Chi is, you look like your mom. I see your mom in you. Your mom this, your mom that. That's not what they say about his sister. So his sister in the end, taking over the 10 rings, is like, you see it through the entire movie, like, oh, that's definitely what's gonna happen, because he's the mom and he is like this like force of good, and she's like, I'm gonna do whatever needs to get done.
Right.
Done. And I was like,
there's a clear line where it's still a great reveal because you get to see what she does with the compound, but it doesn't come out of left field. I think the scene where I knew it was gonna happen, and I love that Katie's character is too stupid to pick up on it, is when she says, when she's like, okay, so at the age of 14, you went and built your own fighting empire, your underground fighting ring empire. And she says, well, my father wouldn't let me be a part of his empire, so I had to build my own. And I'm like, Katie, you're too dumb to realize it because your character's written that way, but that is a huge red flag. She's not mad that her father is a warlord. She's mad that he doesn't have enough respect for his girl child to allow women into his organization and to include her. Like, that's what she's mad about. She's not mad that he's, a horrible person. She's mad. And then that's like the first change she makes, is that there's women training in the in the courtyard. I'm like, well, once again, this is a 1,000-year-old man, right? So to me, that was not shocking, because let me tell you, a lot of Indian families are still like that, where like your son inherits everything and your daughter inherits nothing. And that's why the gender ratios in Punjab are so skewed. Like, this is very common to this day, that the male is who carries on your family, so they get everything. And as the daughter, you don't even inherit anything. Like, my brother's wife is more likely to inherit all of our family heirlooms and my mother's wedding jewelry than I am, because that's going to stay in the family, right? I have grown up with this sticking in my craw for a long time. So her character was so goddamn relatable to me, because when Sean left, it's like, she's right there. She's right there. You have an heir. She's right there. And he still is like, my heir has left. And I'm like, I would have gone and set up an underground fighting ring too and been like, fuck it, I'll build my own empire. I was here the whole time. I had to train myself, because that, to me, that shit was just mad relatable with this obsession with like the golden male child who's going to carry on the family. And I'm like, she's right there, old man. Come on.
Yeah.
She's ready. She's been training. Give her a shot. And he's like, my son is here. It's time for you to take over the 10 rings. In the background, she was probably like,
this son of a bitch. Yeah, totally.
And that's why when they're in the ring and she lets him have it, I'm like, beat his ass more. That's probably so frustrating, it's like,
yeah, pent up over the years for sure. We mentioned Katie multiple times. I love the fact that even at the very end, when they were like literally hugging, that they didn't turn it into a romantic relationship. It was like just kind of like friends, and that's it. The grandmother, like in the beginning, we mentioned like, when are you two gonna? I think she says something about like, are you gonna get married or something? Really like one-off commentary. But at the end, they like never had a romantic aspect to their relationship. I hope that stays the same throughout the films. I don't know if it's going to, but I hope that's what happens. That like,
I would we'll hope that that's the case, that they are too. I mean, I'm curious how they bring Awkwafina along on the. They're like, you're involved as well, and I was like, how?
Yeah, that was
like. Besides friendship, what does she offer this man when it comes to like world-saving powers? Like, sure, she did that scene where, again, another trope where it's like the person with no discernible skill in one day learns to do a thing.
Well, that was,
and then they comment on it and they joke about it.
Well, also throughout the entire movie, they said like she was very good at like always learning things very quickly, but that's it. And I know that's not enough
like,
to like
that's
still
fine.
fulfill the trope, but at least they gave it some breath.
It's fine, but now moving into Avenger status, what does she offer him? And like, besides like, hey, I'm in this with you. Wong's like, I need both of you. And it was a very Back to the Future moment where it's like, oh, it's about your kids, Marty. It felt like that where it's like, I need both of you. But I'm like, okay, cool. I'm glad she's there. That's fun for like the story. But what does she offer that like that girl is going to be in the way when aliens come and he has to save her? Like, that's not good.
I wonder if she'll be the link between, I'm blanking on the place where Act 3 takes place in the movie, the pocket dimension area. Talo. Yeah, Talo. If she'll be the connection between those two. I don't know, because Shang-Chi has to go fight the fucking, the aliens. Maybe she's the connection.
Maybe she is going to be like Kagome in Inuyasha, and she's the priestess that shoots the spectral arrows.
Oh, maybe.
Sorry, so. That was a deep
anime cut
reference
right there. Yeah. No,
maybe she's our Kagome. Maybe she's gonna spiritual arrow, and then it like destroys demon. I don't know.
You're
Dragon
right,
scale
though.
bow.
I don't know what her link is for sure.
Hawkeye got how many movie appearances just based off of hitting things? Maybe she can be.
Look, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
Hawkeye.
I just don't like, I have no problem with Katie being around. I just don't know what her role is.
Yeah,
I don't either.
For this, for this, she was the street level person. She was like the viewer.
She was the grounded character.
Yeah, and she was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm along for the ride, and just like you, people watching at home. But like from this point on, I don't know where she stands in the. It feels like one of those things where, like in most origin stories or in most single character movies, there's always additional characters that are along for the ride, and then they don't end up doing anything. And but they specifically said, you're coming. So now I'm like, all right, I take them at their word. What is her role?
Mm-hmm. We'll find out. I guess.
I'm fine with friends.
She's also friends with Shang-Chi's sister, the leader of the now 10 Rings, right? So like maybe that's
that woman who should definitely play Jerry in Street Fighter. Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, she had the Jerry cut. You're right. She totally had the Jerry cut.
I was like, oh,
yeah, she did.
Just enough.
I love that. What is the character's name? Ted from Spider-Man. Is his name Ted?
The
guy in the chair.
Oh, Ned.
Yes, yeah.
Ned.
Yeah.
Ned. I love that they kind of lampshade that. They're just like, I love that they acknowledge that he's the guy in the chair.
He's the guy in the chair. Marvel's pretty good about that.
They're just like, this person has no superpowers, but they're still going to be here because, I think like Iron Man doesn't have that problem because he has this suit AI. So there's always someone to talk to.
Right.
And in comic books, you have thought bubbles. But it's actually really hard to script films unless the character would just break out into monologue with themselves. It doesn't work. You have to have somebody there that they can talk to. And obviously, Katie's that character for Shang-Chi. Like, anytime he's having a crisis of conscience or he's thinking about something, he talks to her. Which reminds me of that flashback scene. I just have to have a fan moment. Tony in the 80s double-breasted jacket.
Oh, yeah.
When he comes into the mahjong parlor.
Oh, my God. With, like, the rolled-up sleeves?
That was definitely a callback to, like, his previous work, right? Because, like, I went back...
Yes.
I went back and watched
right now.
A scene, I think it was from Hard Boiled, where he's, like, walking into the library, and then he shoots that guy with the from the gun in the book. He looked 1-to-1 of that entire thing.
I just about died. I was like,
yeah, it looked very evocative.
He just walked in holding his son's hand with the rolled up sleeves in the 80s check.
Looked cool as hell.
He was pretty cool. He's
murder me right here. Just put one of the 10 rings through my skull. It's over.
Can I
just wrap?
Can I just tell you right now? This is my pitch to Marvel.
Okay, let's hear it. Marvel pitch.
A Frangers. It is Darcy, Jimmy, Ned, the dudes from Ant-Man, all of the Katie, all of the characters who are like, we have no powers. We're just like the friends of the Avengers, of Frengers. And it's just them like in a wild caper. And it's just like, well, how do we stop a villain? And they're like, well, one time
that should be a what if episode.
Ant-Man.
That's going to be what if zombies. It's going to be all the Avengers.
Avengers. Come on. That would
fighting
be
the zombies.
So good. Yes.
That'd be hilarious.
Like, what do we do? And for some reason, they have like access to weird weapons and fun. That'd be
just give them a shotgun, like Captain America pops through the door as a zombie. I got to do this, and I don't know who. Wait,
yes, like Happy's there. Happy's like their Tony Stark.
Yeah, he kills
Happy's
Tony.
like,
I'm sorry, Tony.
Happy is, yeah, Happy shows up and he's like, I'm forming a team. I need all of the Frengers. And they're like, Frengers? He's like, the Frengers. Yeah. Oh my God.
I'd be in.
That would be amazing.
I'm
and
in.
he's like, come on, let's go. That would be such a good show.
Oh my God. Pepper might be there too then.
She's already a superhero. She
already got her superhero thing.
Yeah.
Fuck. What is her out? What is she called? She has a
Rescue?
name. Rescue. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. She's Rescue.
No, this is all the side characters. This isn't like love interest. So this is just only side, like the fun side characters who are just a part of the world. And, you know, they're like, we need to go to see a scientist. And they go see the one dude from Thor who's like, I'm still crazy.
Yeah.
And they, that kind of thing. It's just all side characters.
Be great. I'm into it.
Yeah.
You know who we haven't talked about who was just ethereal? Michelle Yeoh.
Yo,
True.
she is still,
True.
She still got it. Girl still got it. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I loved how they like are all standing there and she's like, okay, stop it. Put that down. Nephew.
Yeah.
I loved that.
Still
I don't know why I love that. I like how she was like, stop it.
I was, yeah. She's definitely still a
You're
threat.
embarrassing yourself.
You just jogged my memory about the girl that was, or the guy that was training Katie, though. I was kind of sad that he just randomly died.
That broke my heart.
I was really sad about that. He shouldn't have had to die.
He was so cool.
Yeah.
He was so cool.
He was great.
Well, see, he had to go.
He had to go, so Katie?
Ninja Fett, unfortunately. Like, he died so she could excel, like, so she could find the courage to shoot that arrow.
There you go.
Ninja Fett died for no reason. Except to be like, oh, damn, monsters be scary. That's why he died. Still mad about it. Still upset.
Clearly.
Bond and Chap pointed out the young man, you mean? Once again,
great line.
Another solid Asian moment.
Yes.
Because everything for us is about age.
And I didn't even know that. It worked as a like it worked to me just as a normal white guy. Yeah.
In India, you do not say the names of people older than you. Like, ever. And you talk to them like you're basically rubbing your face in the dirt. And I know this is true of several Asian cultures. Like, you cannot fathom, like, every time you talk to them, you literally change you change everything to a plural. Because we have, like, male and female verbs for, like, everything. Like, running has a male version and a female version and a plural version. When you're talking to people older than you, you switch everything to the plural and you add G at the end. Like, that's how seriously we take, like, talking to elders. So the second he's mouthing off and he's like, you watch how you talk to me, young man. I was like, because he's 1,000 years old. He's not taking lip from you.
Yeah.
But I love that he looks younger. That was so, I don't know what it was. That scene was so great for me.
Yeah.
Like that he was just like, don't fucking talk to me like that. Like you have some wisdom I don't. I've been around for 1,000 goddamn years. I'm not about to take lip from you. You know? Wasn't there a scene from the trailer where he says, I thought they almost imply that he says that to Simu's character.
I don't know if there was any, in terms of like,
you watch how you talk to me, boy.
In terms of like trailers, Bates, switch outs. I don't know if there really was any for Shang-Chi, at least ones that I can recall easily.
Yeah, here's the thing. I don't recall any of the trailers. And if I did, I would look at them and be like, this movie was sold to me as something it was totally not. I don't even know how to describe it. Again, like I said when we started, I walked into this expecting one thing and left being like, whoa, that was not even remotely close to what I thought this movie was going to be. Yeah. Loved every minute of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wait, is that the actual translation? I've eaten more salt than you have rice?
Yeah. That's why the line is so incredible.
Why did they change that?
No, it's I've eaten more salt than you have eaten rice in your entire life.
Why would they change that? That's so good. That's so poetic. Because the scale of magnitude. Why would they change that? That's so good.
I think because it's somewhat of an idiom, is it not?
Yeah, but like you have all the cultural, like you don't need to have cultural context to understand the idiom.
Yeah.
I think.
Someone says that's the translation they used in Swedish. So.
I mean, I think for that one line of dialogue, that scene, that specific scene is what that was for.
Yeah. The subtitle was not the direct translation.
Well, I think I would say that the scene still, ignoring the bronze revelation of like how poetic it is. Not 5 minutes before, you were saying how much you love that line. So
no, I still
to say
love
that it was dumbed down for American audiences is like,
Yeah. It's I
think
maybe
it was,
but no, you didn't. I'm looking at chat. People are being like, idiots. So
I didn't say that. I was just saying I've never heard that phrase before, but immediately it makes sense.
It's beautiful.
To me. Yeah. So there, I think a lot of people could have understood it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think saying, I think they made a choice for whatever reason, probably again because like a lot of things.
It's probably focus group.
Yeah, focus group, but also like you always have to think like as adults, we can definitely appreciate that. But True. If I'm like a 12-year-old, I don't know if that hits the same as like a young dude saying to an old man, "Shut it up, old man." You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Every once in a while, I'm like, well, that makes no sense. Why do they do that? I always have to be like, oh, because they're also making these for like kids. I'm like, oh, that's right. That's right. There are kids
not
laughing
at you. I'm just suppressing laughter from that fucking line Warmonger says in Iron Man 1 that I would like. Tomorrow, surf, tofa.
Yeah. Yeah, another funny thing, we were talking about the small stuff to like link it back into the MCU.
Oh, no.
Having the street vendor on the bus filming was pretty good because the same guy from Spider-Man.
That actually, I think that was a very solid comedy moment.
Oh, it's the same guy.
Yeah. Same guy from Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah, and that's why in this one,
do a flip guy.
He had an audience. Yeah, like
yes.
You notice this one, there were people watching, and he was getting like all the likes because of his success from his previous recording. Yep. I love that. I love that they like. What a great little inclusion. Yeah. I caught that immediately. It was like,
I was watching. Maybe it was the official Marvel webpage. It was either an official one or a fan page. But because of his line, like I used to do a little kung fu or something when I was younger. That's now part of his bio. Like did kung fu when he was younger.
I'm about to rate this entire fight. I did a little kung fu. That scene
is great.
Dying. It was like I did a little kung fu when I was younger. I was like, this is literally every streamer I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yes.
Like, I'm about to tell you how cool this is based on zero experience. I was like, yeah.
It's 10 out of 10. It's fantastic. It's great stuff.
That dude was hilarious.
Because
he nails the whole like annoying streamer trope, but is still likable.
Yep.
Which is, I think, very hard because I think a lot of people with that character would have just veered straight into annoying. But he still keeps that charming bit, especially when he predicts who's going to win. And then the Razor Fist dude is above and he's like, sorry. He goes, never mind, or something like that. He's talking about like how he's getting his ass beat or something. And then he towers over him. There's like a quick moment where he's like,
yeah. Well, no, it's because he says, you got this, bro. Then the knife comes out of his arm. And he goes, nah, never mind. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That part, yeah.
Yeah. It's all good. I still think it's pretty funny in Spider-Man when he goes, "Hey, do a flip," and he does a flip. He goes, "Yeah."
Yes.
That is just stupid. It's just stupid.
Oh, it's so good. This movie used like excess characters, like not background characters, but like the bit characters. Use them so well.
Yes.
That
dude, Trevor for me was the funniest. Like Awkwafina had a bunch of funny lines. I thought the plane scene was great because it was literally, this is how you say this superhero's name. Entire audience. I also read that was entirely ad-libbed between the two of them. And then the idea that she goes into saying like, how the fuck do you go from Shang-Chi to Sean and your dad can't find you? She says like two other things of going from like Gina to Gina or something like that. It was all great. It was very funny.
I love that even that loop is closed because his dad is like,
I let you go for 10 years. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's great.
Yeah. I like
it out of your system.
Yep.
Every little bit of that where they're like all the different questions that were brought up, they wrapped them up.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like we're going to leave this loose thread. This was a movie they were like, everything we're going to address it and deal with it. And I like that because I was convinced, you have no idea. I was convinced they were going to be like, yeah, that like Dweller in Darkness shit, that's not even going to be in this movie. That's like a future movie. And they were like, no, dude, that's the last 35 minutes.
Well,
I was like, what?
When they introduced that, I kept thinking about like, and I've still been thinking about like, is this some tie-in to like a cosmic entity that we have only seen like, that was just the fucking soldier grunt of like whoever this cosmic entity was. But I feel like it's kind of like one and done.
Yeah.
Like I don't necessarily think there's any big tie-ins from that.
Yeah. The only thing that didn't, this is what's interesting. The only thing that didn't have a true explanation was the title of the film.
Legend of the Ten Rings?
The 10 Rings were the least important thing in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the least and then at the end when I was like, oh, here's the payoff. We're going to find out why these rings are so important. And then it's just like,
it's got to be an Eternals thing.
Not yet.
Are any of the Eternals like weaponsmiths? I don't know if they are.
One is, I'm pretty sure.
Really? Because maybe they're like, maybe he like fucked up and helped humans by giving them. Phastos is? I bet you that's what it is. I bet you
there's a name.
I bet you he made the 10 rings to help some human a long, long time ago, even when the Eternals aren't supposed to do that. And that what he's calling is a celestial. And that's why the celestial comes back to Earth or comes to Earth and like notices. But that might be too fast because that's not an Avenger level threat if that's going to be in Eternals. I don't know.
I don't know the timetables match up either. Because Shang-Chi takes place present day. I thought the Eternals was immediately after Thanos is killed.
I don't think it's immediate. I think it's just I think they're going to get a little crazy.
Isn't it before? Isn't it before? Man, I don't know what the timelines of these movies are.
Yeah.
I feel like it takes place before Shang-Chi takes place.
It could be. Yeah, maybe. I know it's after I want to say it's after Endgame because don't they talk about the effect of the snap on and like people are
apparently it's the same. Apparently it's the same time as Far From Home.
That would make sense because in the trailer she's I think Salma Hayek is doing the voiceover and she says like half of humanity returns in an instant and then it shows like the Earth being populated in the post snap thing. So they're probably around the same times.
Yeah, and the Celestials, the reason, and she says the reason why they're getting the band back together is because the Deviants show up because of the snap. So it isn't because of the 10 rings.
Well,
it's the emergence event starts because the energy from bringing everybody back is so huge.
It's prepared the next
second snap.
The second snap, bringing people back.
And that brings everyone back. And then the Deviants show up again, I guess. And that's why they have to
yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, and so that's the plot of that, which again doesn't necessarily explain what the like pinging is for the 10 rings.
True.
Clearly they're going to have a role at some point and we'll get answers.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm old JP. I gonna make it to those answers, man? I don't. This could be the end for me. They gotta tell me.
I read someone had a comment that it was a weapon made by Kang from the future.
If this is a Kang thing from the future,
but I don't know like who he could be calling in space or like transmitting to, unless it's transmitting to Kang something. I don't know.
I also have a question about.
Wild.
Let me again. I don't know how do I phrase this? Kang as a villain is a dope character. Like he is Machiavellian in his sort of like what he does and his machinations of like how he does things.
Right.
And he's like a great villain in that regard. If one of our new Avengers is already a guy with 10 powerful rings and the awesome skills of martial arts, how does Kang fight? What does Kang do to this dude? Right? Because I don't even know like how that happens. That's just one of them. I don't know what kind of threat they're going to make Kang out to be. Because Loki, admittedly, what they did with Loki is they made him a joke. Like Loki was the joke character in Avengers 1. He was the villain. And then they literally made him into a joke.
With Hawke and whatnot, yeah.
Boy, I hope they do not do that with Kang.
I think
so. I don't know.
I think Kang is more along the lines of Zemo in the sense that he's like a mastermind. And so he'll have some sort of plan that they can't really see the end to. And they can't necessarily catch him because he's got all this future tech. And then like whatever his big plan is will like come into effect. And I don't know if that's going to be some sort of like multiversal war, which I don't, if we get fucking like X-Men fighting Avengers or I don't know what it could be. Right. And that's also kind of the exciting thing in the sense of, I don't know where we're going. I think with Thanos, it was always the idea of like, oh shit, we're going to get like fucking real Thanos. He's going to get the Infinity Gauntlet. We're going to know what this is. And now it's like, I don't know. Kang exists. We know he's a big bad, but I don't know how it works out. And that's like exciting
I guess,
for me.
Like Thanos though has always been the guy who will like, I will literally punch a hero in the face like that. I'll just do that.
Yeah.
But
just raw strength,
you know, yeah. But when it comes to Kang was always the guy who was just like, you'll never defeat me, heroes. Yeah. Like, you know, he never was down fighting a dude. And if he did, it was always like really weird. And like, he's like, watch out for my green fists and purple outfit. Like, okay.
I don't know.
Right, cool,
look,
dude.
Thanos had a fucking helicopter and they made him cool. All right.
I mean, look, everyone was on drugs at that point. It was, I think that like, I'm not worried about Kang being cool. Kang's gonna be dope.
It's just
Kang
how
as
he
a character
fits in.
is super cool. Yeah. It's how they introduce and Bronze has mentioned this many times. The power creep of superheroes is like, you know, you had a martial arts master now has 10 rings and is basically invincible. Like can literally kill a space void creature with the power of like, like space, like spins
with the power of
So, yeah, like that's what he did. He spun around a bunch of them, went like, and then the rings exploded out of him and killed him.
True.
All I'm saying is like, you know, Kang is a character. I get that he has like like an out of time empire. And he's super powerful. We need to see we need to see more of what makes him powerful in the next couple movies as a threat. Because all we have right now is like,
it might be too soon though.
You know,
I agree. We need to see that. But yeah.
But the reason why Thanos, I mean, like, people knew who Thanos was. Most comic book people know who Thanos was. And then when you saw Thanos, all you knew is that every villain, when they thought of Thanos, they were like, bro, don't mess with that dude. That guy's awful.
Yeah.
And so we need more. If they're going to go down the line, like, we have to introduce Kang at some point, besides just being like the wacky, crazy guy. Because the guy with the Kang we got in Loki is like not real Kang. That's like, I'm the crazy guy at the end of time who's been here forever, and I've lost my mind Kang. And real Kang is like, oh, hey, bitches. I planned all this shit, and you're all big dummies. Bye. Like, that's that guy, where he's like, before you get there, you've already lost. So I don't know. We'll find out. I'm very excited to see what happens.
Yeah.
But I expected something at the end of this that was going to be a setup for future movies, but really it was kind of like,
it was an illusion.
It was all specifically maybe for a sequel to this specific movie.
Potentially. Yeah. I mean, it could, who knows? I think Eternals will definitely set up Eternals will set up a lot more of Phase 4 than like Shang-Chi was a origin story. Eternals seems to be like a galactic level, like the fucking Celestials are showing up in Eternals. To me, that's as big as it can get, right? Like they are.
But like, dude, is it a flashback? Do they show up? How does it? I don't know, my dude.
I mean,
again,
there's a lot of shots of them in the trailers. They're fucking, they're creating. One of them's creating the universe. It looks like the other one's just being big and badass and red.
The other one's just vibing in outer space.
Yeah, he's just hanging out. I don't know.
That's what I would do if I was a giant space being. I'd just vibe.
I'm just saying, like, for them to introduce something of that scale and size, where it's been kind of alluded to in other films, like with Nowhere and Guardians of the Galaxy. Now they're like, oh, this is one of those celestial. It's not a head. It's not a dying head. This is like an actual celestial type situation. It's gonna be a little wild.
If I was a celestial, I would make a hammock.
A space
out of
hammock?
a couple of galaxies
Just
and
hang
just sitting there drinking Earl Grey tea.
That's the Brit. That's Brit Celestial. That's his name.
I'd have an Arnold Palmer.
I'm not messing
a
around.
Nice Arnold Palmer and just
these people.
Could be.
Jesse gets it. They're idiots. I'm not messing around with any type of sentient creature.
You're just.
I get the vibe of.
Yeah.
I get the vibe of hanging out on Mars and just staring at Earth angrily. Yeah, like I get that vibe. Sometimes I just want to do that.
Like it's reality TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just I would sit up there.
I would watch the dumpster fire and laugh.
Judge everyone. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. I'd be like, who's your favorite this season? Do you like the humans, the Kree, the Skrull? Who are you betting on?
Yeah.
Could be.
Oh, I would always bet on the Skrull every time.
Every time.
Every time. Every time.
True.
So someone asked what's coming up next. And so November is Eternals.
Yeah. Which I think, by the way, Eternals, I was a little bit worried about its like appeal, because it's definitely like, it's a Chloe Zhao film, which is usually very artistic and very like, not necessarily a great popcorn flick in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
But during that trailer, I was watching it with Aaron in the theaters, and the second that Rob Stark showed up, she leans over and goes, "Is that Rob Stark?" I go, "Yeah." Oh, that looks really good. And so I'm not worried about it anymore. I think they know exactly what they're doing. They're going to get a bunch of hot people in there. We got Jolie, we got Rob Stark, we got Jon Snow. We got Kumail ripped out of his fucking goddamn mind, shooting finger guns, right? Just going to have a bunch of hot people, and that's what's going to get people in seats. And then everyone will be like, oh shit, this Chloe Zhao person is actually like very talented.
And then after that, like a month later, new Spider-Man.
Right.
And then new Spider-Man's going to be a thing that we're going to be full on insane multiverse at that point.
By the time Spider-Man is out, we'll be in Hawkeye.
Yeah, Hawkeye, and apparently is Miss Marvel still coming this year, or is that pushed?
I don't know. They've been kind of quiet on that. I think we're probably going to see a push for that. I would think.
Probably closer to when they release Captain Marvel 2, I would imagine.
Yeah, because she's rumored to be in that. Yeah.
Yeah. Needless to say, it looks like if Hawkeye's still this year, then that means 2022 is Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, Thor Love and Thunder, I think maybe Black Panther 2 and Captain Marvel 2, I think.
For 2022?
Is what's supposed to happen?
Yeah.
In 2022, yeah. And plus Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, and Moon Knight for sure.
Yeah.
And then I think someone said that we might get Ironheart and Armor Wars in 2022 as well.
Yep.
And then I believe the order of operations was the Guardians of the Galaxy's holiday special is at the end of 2022, followed by Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which is 2023.
Yep.
And then 2023 is like where, everything's amorphous, but
Blade is in there, and
yeah, Blade's possibly there, and then there's Quantum Mania finally, and then again, the most famous thing they've done so far with Phase 4 is the last, like, they dropped just a big 4, and everyone's like, does that mean Fantastic Four? No one knows anything. Don't make assumptions.
Well, and there's
I refuse to do so, even though I really want it.
There's
But,
also like they're probably gonna have some team up movie at some point in that. Unless it's
I feel like that's gonna be Quantum Mania. Honestly, I feel like that's Quantum Mania.
An Ant-Man thing. I mean, that could be. I'm saying like an Avengers title film, like Avengers : whatever that they haven't yet announced.
I mean, the Avengers we have are gone.
Right? No, it'll be a brand new one. A brand. Well, not a brand new. I mean, I'll have like Doctor Strange, Falcon, Wanda, Shang-Chi. Marvel officially announced that Shang-Chi was a Avenger. I think in a couple.
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah, he's one of the new Avengers. For sure, he's an Avenger. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, whatever it's gonna be like a new. You'll see over the next 3 years, they're gonna be phasing out. Like Bruce Banner is gonna be like the dad character.
I think he's gonna stick around.
He'll be there. He'll be like the dad who's like, you crazy kids with your adventures. Watch it happen.
He looked
gonna happen
in the post credit. He looked real old in the post credit. I don't know if that was just like the effects of him coming back to humanity, but he had some gray hair.
I mean, I hate to break it to you, people get old after 10 years.
And his arm was broken.
Well, his arm was broken because he snapped.
Yeah, that was still his damaged arm.
Yeah. Aaron had the same question. She was like, why was Bruce in a sling? Like, what the fuck? He was hurt. And I said, oh, he snapped. That's right. I didn't even realize that until I thought about it.
Yeah. I forgot about that too.
Yeah. I think Bruce is going to be the guy who's like the dude in the chair for the new Avengers.
Could be.
For sure. And you know, they can bring him back as Hulk for fun things, but She-Hulk will exist. And
right. True.
I think there's gonna be all these new characters, and it'll be, you know, another 10-year saga of introducing new characters into the franchises, and that's just kind of what it's gonna be. Paul Rudd will still be in it because Paul Rudd will be 100 years old and still look the exact same.
Yeah, he doesn't.
But
age.
Yeah, I think most of the people who are in it, if you just look at the cast, most of the cast of Avengers, you know, are Thor. I guess Hemsworth could keep doing that for a while.
I think he wants
that dude
to.
Is like,
yeah.
I mean, that's a fun role, and that dude is young, so he can like pull it off. But most people in the Avengers when they started were like pushing 40, and you know, at a certain point after 10 years, 50 something, you know, you're just like in movie time. You're so old. Oh, you're so old.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see. We need to have 2 discussions. One, how do we handle Shang-Chi spoilers moving forward for the show? Because we got 40 days till people can watch that film on their own.
Well, I mean, how often are we going to talk about it? You know,
we just got to be. I don't think it's all I'm saying is we got to be careful with like how we.
Well, the good news is it doesn't connect that drastically to anything else.
Yeah, and What If will be kind of on its own. So
yeah. So I don't think it's gonna be that big of an issue. Truthfully,
careful.
Yeah, we'll just be a little careful. Number 2, more of a announcement for the show. Talked about this a little bit before. Barry is about 99% done doing little quick fixes with our MCU rankings website. So we'll probably do that after What If is over, I would think, when the show's got a little bit of not too much material. I'll turn spoilers off.
We have to make it to November.
Yeah.
Wow. The good thing we have Midnight Suns to talk about and keep up with.
That's true.
Help us get there.
We're doing another one of those sponsors.
To follow MCU Crew on Twitter and to check out information about Midnight Suns, #ad, and tag them and let them know that you love the show.
There you go. Good plug. So the rankings website, it'll always be up there if you want to see our rankings. But as a viewer, you can go and vote at any moment, whenever you want, for the community ranking, which will then be an aggregate ranking that continues on And we'll add movies and stuff to that too to remind you guys. So Barry's put in some work. It'll require, I think, a Twitch login for that. But cool little page. We'll utilize that once What If is over and do our full-on Marvel rankings in the future. And I think that's it in terms of like announcements. Jesse, I gotta ask, this is not Marvel related, but I'm not sure when I'm going to talk to Jesse outside of the show. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? I have a bunch of these Star Wars toys.
All right.
This one is pretty badass.
First, he doesn't look like a samurai. He looks like a predator. Second, that Baby Yoda is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I would buy that just for him. And I'd like give you the rest. I don't need the rest of it. That little top knot is hilarious.
It's great. I've got,
but that dude looks like that dude does not look like Boba Fett.
That whole line of toys is fantastic. I've got Darth over there, some Imperial Guards, a snowtrooper.
Looks like
Kylo.
A predator.
It's great. It's great. I'm gonna grab that.
All I'm saying is, it's all right. That Baby Yoda. Oh my God, that's 10 times greatness.
Baby Yoda's pretty good. It's pretty good.
God bless every hair on Baby Yoda's fuzzy little head.
I agree.
Hair on my head, I have, yes.
No. Oh.
Jesse's making it weird. He's making it weird.
All I'm saying is, there's a mega cut of him going through Luke's bag. There are many Yodas. There's like kind of a dick Yoda from episode 1. And there's like baby Yodas and all. The best Yoda is old senile Yoda. Yoda on Dagobah, who's like looking through Luke's bag, taking like candy bars and shit from that bag. He's like, yes, good. And Luke's like, stop that. He's like, ooh, and he hits him with his stick. That's the best one. That's my favorite one. He's like, I'm crazy. That's the best one.
There you go.
It's the best one. Tell me I'm wrong, because I'm not. Because I ain't wrong. Because that's the best Yoda. And he beats up R2. It's great.
You know, I often, on the topic of Yoda, since I started this, I oftentimes think about that goddamn frog in Mandalorian, that frog lady that eats the eggs. You know what I'm talking about?
No, that doesn't eat the eggs. She gave birth to those eggs.
Oh, wait.
And Grogu ate them shits.
Oh, yeah. Grogu was the one that ate the eggs. That's right.
They played it for laughs. Those are the last of her species. They played it for laughs,
That's why
JP.
It's stuck in my head, because it was so fucked up.
They played it. He was like, and you're like, that was the last of them. There's no more. Why do you let that baby eat that? And he's like,
it's
crazy.
It's messed
crazy up. Show.
It's messed up. All right, let's do some
it just
shout-outs.
reminded me of back in the before times. I went to Disneyland.
Okay,
and
you do.
There was a child that was sitting there during the parade. Parade's going by, and this lady had, I think it was like a bucket of popcorn that she was like eating, and her kid would come by and eat it as well. This kid, I shit you not, walked over to the trash can, pushed against it, had their hands inside the trash, I think grabbed something from the trash and ate it, came back, put the hands in the popcorn, and the mom just like ran over and was eating it. And I was like, now I know how baby Grogu ate the eggs. People really don't be watching their kids. Like, and did this multiple times. At one point, this child picked something up off the ground, like a piece of churro, and ate it and came back to the popcorn bucket. And I was pointing it out to my friends, was like, are y'all watching this toddler? And they were across the way. So like the parade's going through, and I'm just watching this kid touch everything and put it in their mouth and then come back to the popcorn bucket. And the mom is just one hand in the popcorn bucket eating. And I'm like, this Christmas parade has become a horror parade for me.
Oh, it was the season of giving.
Yeah.
He was giving the mom
he was inspired.
hepatitis. I don't know. Yeah.
He was inspired by the season. Yeah. I agree.
And that's how I feel 100% convinced that Baby Yoda could eat the eggs, because people really don't be watching their kids at all.
Probably true. On that note, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Let's do some shout-outs. Bronze, what do you got going on? Why can people check you out this week?
Hi, hello. Yeah, what am I playing this week? I think I'm gonna play some of this cute little indie game called Kiwi, where you play as two postal office kiwis, literally the bird creature thing, trying to deliver mail. Normally I stream after the show, but today today I'm not going to, because I've got work and other stuff to do. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitch and on Twitter to know when I go live. And for those of you that follow Acquisitions Incorporated, I can officially say as of Friday, my character was announced. I'm playing Omen Dron's daughter, and I'm officially part of the Acquisitions Inc. team. And my first official game is going to be at PAX Unplugged, and I'm so excited to be joining that amazing cast. I've been watching Ack Inc. and listening to it as a podcast since I was a young baby streamer, and now I get to be a part of it. So I'm pretty excited for that.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jesse Cox, what big fun announcement do you have? Uh-huh.
I have a lot of irons in the fire, and things are just really going great for me right now, JP. And I'm Jesse, and I've got my own game studio, and I'm always doing cool stuff. I got a new video coming out about the lore of Final Fantasy XIV because I'm so innovative and informative with my content. I'm Jesse Cox.
Was he like Mr. Meeseeks, where he just says, I'm Jesse Cox?
That Jesse guy. That Jesse guy sounds like he's doing great. This Jesse guy.
Jesse Cox.
I got so much stuff. So basically, I leave Tuesday to go out of the country. So I'm like,
where are you going? Poland?
Overseas. No, I'm going on a little adventure.
Okay.
It's way too dumb to even look, I'm being conned into going overseas with my parents. So that's happening.
Oh.
And they hit me with we could be dead one day. So there you go. So that's why I'm going.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's nothing important happening. now I have to like plan all the things, So it's like, all right, well, I got stuff to do. So I gotta take my laptop and I gotta do this thing and I gotta, like that. And then also I have today and tomorrow morning to finish everything I'm trying to get done. So I'm like overwhelmed by it. But at the same time, Bronze is there she got my back. So, I don't know. Look, things are happening. I'm trying to get a million things done. All you need to know is that, if you want to get a lifetime subscription to twitch.tv/Jesse Cox, you can't anymore. It's gone.
Whoa.
It's gone.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Big news.
So tough tatas. You all had your chance. I warned you.
Big news.
I warned you about it, and many of you listened. Thank you for that. But last week I went and it switched over. But now I can do things like animated emotes.
Whoa.
Which, I couldn't do before. And then, thanks to everyone who subscribed. And that was a fun day. And so, now I think I legally have to stream more now that I have actual subscriptions. So that'll be a thing.
I get it.
And that's what you get, losers, because I warned you that the lifetime sub was going away and you didn't listen.
Oh wait. Oh.
And you didn't listen. And now, you missed out. If you miss it, you miss it. And everybody else got grandfathered in. So I know the people that were down since day one, the real Cox crew, the big Cox fans. I know them.
That's what his tier 3 subs are called, is the big Cox.
That's not what they're called.
That's the big Cox. Also,
look
forward to the new podcast, Dodging Cox, with Dodger and Jess Cox.
Can I tell you that I was actually told by marketing people to stop including my name in things I do as puns or whatever?
I'm sure.
Because they're like, that does not help. No one wants to watch a show about dicks.
Yep.
And I was like, no one? No one?
I feel like that's got to be an intro to a future show. There's a bunch of marketing people and someone screaming, no one wants to talk about dicks, Jesse Cox. And then it just like reverberates and echoes in your head. and then we go off, and that's what the show's about.
Yeah. I watched a show in England one time about dicks.
Yeah? Was it good?
It was great. It was a show about a guy who had a really tiny dick.
Oh.
And the whole show was about him accepting his tiny penis. And his wife was like, he's fine. I don't know what his problem is. And he was like, no, it's so small. And so then he went and had a cast made of it. And then like literally the end of the show. This is on British BBC TV.
Oh yeah, they don't give a
I saw
fuck
this man's
there.
dick like 15
They
times
don't
on
give
this thing.
a fuck over there.
And then at the end, it's him standing on top of a building. And he's like, I love my penis. It was so funny.
Sounds like a great show.
Shit. It was a documentary. It was like it wasn't just a TV. It was like an actual documentary about this guy. His wife was like, I don't know what his problem is. It's fine. And he was like, my penis is so. It was incredible.
Dude, BBC doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
The first night I was in England ever, we turned on the TV and it was a show where it's just it's a dating show where the two people just stand there completely nude, but their face is covered up, and they just have to like figure out if they want to go on a date with this other person.
Oh yeah, they want to go on a date with a person based on like what they look like nude. Yeah, I've seen that show too. Yeah. Naked Attraction is the name of the show.
Yeah. It's just like, come on, America, you're fucking up. We could have had this.
Bronze, I need to let you know. This is why. All I'm saying is, if you were Mrs. Cox, you could world travel with me and we could watch penis shows together. I'm just saying, it's my offer's on the table.
That's a great
If you
offer.
want nothing but penis shows and Naked Attraction for hours on it, and Gogglebox. For some reason, I love that shit. It's garbage.
I just feel so lied to because I always hear people from the UK talk about how, oh, well, our sense of humor is different. You know, it's a bit more, you know, intelligent than American humor.
No, they're liars.
No, it's-
compared to the American. And now you're telling me this, and I feel
Those are the
like
posh
those
people.
motherfuckers just lied to me.
Yeah. No. You're talking about
Because they
posh.
have
humor-
weird ass TV just like we do. Like 'cause
British
that-
humor literally was Monty Python.
Yeah.
They can't. How
Which I
dare they
love.
be like? How dare they be like? Our humor's more refined. Nah. That's a lie. That's BS.
Yeah.
Although, with that said, these two shows are not played for humor. The documentary I watched about that guy's dingle dangle was not played for
Serious?
humor.
Did
It was
have a
like
serious British
super serious
voiceover. Okay.
It was like this poor man going through a life with a small penis. That was like the voice actor in the back was like, and he's like, I just don't know what to do anymore. And his wife's like, it's fine, Charles. There's nothing wrong with it. And he's like, it's so small. I'm so insecure. And she was like, what is your problem? And he's like, I'm going to go have a woman dip me dingle inside a cast of mold. And then I'm going to show you what it looks like, what I see. And then the best part is he went to this lady and she has like molds of dicks around her apartment.
Nice.
But they're all from like big dick celebrities. And she's like, oh, that over there, that's Van Morrison's wiener. And it's like, what? And then this guy, they do a whole thing. And at the end, again, he stands on a rooftop and goes, I love my penis.
Oh, boy.
All played
Somebody in
straight.
chat said you need to come to Scotland, and I have to say, Scotland is the only place in Europe I've ever been interested in visiting.
Yeah, Scotland's great.
I love Scotland. Scotland's beautiful.
One day I'm gonna get my coins together and go to Scotland.
Scotland
'Cause
sounds great. Sounds great.
That is the one place that's on my bucket list of, from Europe.
Yeah.
The rest are everywhere else in the world.
My penis.
To
No, I'm trying to pivot away from that,
Look, here's the
Jesse.
thing. To
'cause
finish
I don't
the
want to
show
think
off-
about how awkward this show is.
to finish the MCU crew off, here's a meme about the upcoming What If episode that I think is real dumb. We'll see what happens on What
I'd
If
watch the hell out of
Zombies.
that.
Because if it's anything like that, I'm on board. I'm there day one. We'll be back next week. We'll talk about What If episode 5, and we'll go from there. We do have we have another sponsored stream this month. I don't know if we're able to share the dates on that just yet, but there will be another sponsored stream where we'll take a look at the Midnight Suns gameplay stuff that was announced last Wednesday, and we'll cover that in full. That'll be it this week, though, for the MCU crew. Jesse has lost his goddamn mind. He's got to go on top of a building.
I was just reminding myself, I just reminded myself that it existed. And every once in a while I forget that thing happened and I watched it. And now right now I'm back in that moment and I cannot express to you how much joy I felt watching a thing so weird. I was like, I can't believe I'm seeing this. And now it's in my head again. And I will be thinking about it all day and just randomly like.
There you go. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
It really is.
Yeah. Thanks for watching the MCU Crew. We'll be back next week with another episode. We're out of here. Wouldn't be an MCU Crew if Jesse just wasn't cackling like mad. See you guys next week. Bye-bye, everybody.